Welcome to the Nerd Party.
Hello, I'm Tristan Riddell.
I'm Matt Hansen.
And I'm Lee Hutchison.
And welcome to the Senate floor.
Welcome to Nerd Party.
That's right, you got all three of us this week. This is the Senate floor, episode 57, and we have such an interesting treat for you this week because I am thoroughly excited about this because we are doing a Captain America, wait for it, Civil War audio commentary, because this is not only a sequel to Winter Soldier, this is our commentary sequel to Winter Soldier.
I can't wait, and maybe, Tristan, you'll actually be able to stick around the whole time this time.
I was counting down on how long it would take for you to rip me a new one on that. Like, for those of you who didn't listen to the last commentary, I had to leave probably 45 minutes in, something like that.
The action barely even got started.
I felt so bad. There was there was an outside life emergency that was calling to me, and I had to leave. I had to go.
Somewhere out there, there's some fan that's OCD and that we've not done the Captain America, the first Avenger, and we're doing a sequel to the second one. So we're on the second one when we really should be on the third one. So there's someone out there probably freaking out, and that's probably me.
I think the reason why, actually, I justified this just a moment ago before we started recording, where I said, hey, we should do a commentary whenever the Russo brothers do a movie, and that way we don't have to do First Avenger, which I'm thoroughly excited about.
Which you can go jump off a cliff drinking that haterade.
Wow, just pulling out the haterade. I feel like it's 2012 all over again. All right, well, how about we just jump right into it? I mean, I don't even want to do any preamble. Let's just talk about the movie as it's going. So, for those of you who haven't done a commentary with us before, it's really simple. Queue up your DVDs, queue up your Blu-rays, queue up your iTunes, Vudu, however you have it. We're going to do a 3, 2, 1 and hit play. So, get ready. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. Blackness.
This is not the most exciting way to start off audio commentary trailer podcast, but I love the font for the dates and the city locations in this movie. I think it really stands out, and it's something so simple and it looks really cool.
So you like the big white letters this time?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of fonts in movies, so yeah, this one passes my test.
See, I liked the big white letters, but I think my favorite. This is so pathetic that we're talking about this, but my favorite font in these Marvel movies is still Winter Soldier, because they gave the location and then the latitude, longitude, which I thought was interesting.
We've got like 2.5 hours. Don't worry about talking about fonts. We've got a lot of time to fill. So, we could put, even if we spend 10 minutes talking about the fonts, that's not a problem.
Well, we could talk about reintroduction of Bucky.
Yeah, I suppose that's more exciting than the font chat. Yeah.
I didn't get to comment on the fonts. I feel kind of ripped on this one. That's all right. We'll talk about it later.
Well, Tristan, what do you think of the fonts?
I love the fonts because I'm in video production, and titles that take up almost the entire screen in stark white are very in right now. They're very in. Like, this is very topical font usage.
So what did you guys think of, because this is a new aspect that we're being introduced to. We, of course, are familiar with Bucky from Winter Soldier, but we're introducing this idea of the code words to turn him into Winter Soldier. Yeah,
I quite like it. It reminds me of, I'm a huge X-Files fan, and I think this is almost a really cool cold opening, that what is going on here, that you're just kind of being teased with some ideas, some visuals, you don't really know where it's going, and it just feels like it's setting up perfectly for the movie ahead, especially not having the Marvel logo and the logo coming after this kind of literally cold opening. I really like that.
By the way, I love his theme. I'm glad they kept his theme from Winter Soldier.
I'm not going to insult you by trying to do it again after I did it so poorly in the last one.
So I love how hard the car hits.
The Russos know how to film car accidents.
It feels, it's so impactful. It just feels so tactile, and just, you feel it. You're just like, ooh, that hit hard. And the camera didn't cut away or shy away. It's boom, hit.
And I like how this is going to be teased for the rest of the movie, this car accident, that I remember just watching it thinking, oh, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. You just kind of think it's normal, and the fact that it kind of unfolds more and more as the movie kind of goes along is really appealing. You know, it adds a mystery element that's often missing from superhero movies, that we see things kind of play out like so matter of fact, you know, in real time, whereas this is really holding a lot back, teasing things, coming back to things. I think it's a really interesting take.
One thing that I think is really interesting is, oh, there we go, font again.
New Avengers.
Is with this, like with the release of Civil War, this coincided with so many separate anniversaries that Marvel had. I mean, it was the 75th anniversary of Captain America.
Yes.
It was the 10th anniversary of the Civil War comic book, and the 50th anniversary of Black Panther.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Now, what I like about this opening in comparison to some of the other Avenger-type openings that we've seen is I like this idea of the Avengers, as opposed to how they were at the beginning of Age of Ultron, where they're coming in with guns blazing, this idea that they're a covert ops group. It's very in keeping with Winter Soldier, and I kind of like, I think it makes it more fun.
It's more realistic too, as well, that, you know, weapons really should be the last resort, and especially with the way they're angling the Avengers, that they are this kind of agency. That's how you would act. Like the CIA don't go all guns blazing. James Bond doesn't. His first instinct isn't to shoot; it's to think before shooting. It's much more realistic than just, oh, here they are, fight, Hulk out, and so on. Yeah, what did you think of Crossbones being introduced again here? Was it what you expected after the end of Winter Soldier to see him, you know, this badass?
Yes, but it wasn't what I expected when we get to in a couple of minutes from now, that he would be gone so quickly.
Yeah, I thought it was such a waste of a setup. I mean, like, I didn't really care. But it felt like there was so much hype for Crossbones. I was like, oh, he must be going to play a huge role in the next one, and then boom, he's
pretty much this movie's Batroc from the last film.
Yeah, it's true, and I just thought it was weird, but I don't know, I didn't really like that actor, so I wasn't disappointed really.
I think he was quite.
He's
I
badass.
quite like him. I had no issues. Yeah.
He's replaceable. I mean, he's your standard.
He's a bit hammy as Crossbones, but I think he was really excellent in
that was part of the charm, though, for me.
Yeah, I remember when like the first images of him leaked in this movie, and I was like, I'm not convinced. It looked a bit 90s.
No, I always liked his look.
No, I was the same way as you, Lee. Like when I saw that image, I was like, "Oh crap, that's weird." But then you gotta trust that it's gonna look different on a 35mm camera as opposed to somebody's phone all the way zoomed in. You know.
And it does look much better. I remember just going into the film thinking, "Oh, I'm not convinced by what I've seen," but like, it's one of these things that I'll come out to. I trust the Russo brothers, so yeah, and it certainly looks much better. It looks very tactile and believable.
And again, what I love about this particular sequence in comparison with the last Avengers movie that we just had last year is that this, again, the type of action feels back to that Winter Soldier feeling of kinetic movement, as opposed to, you know, I like Joss Whedon, but he shoots his action in very static shots.
I think it's much more realistic as well. It's a real good mix of practical effects, CGI, whereas that was kind of just like, and the fact that it's like human on human action really makes it a bit more appealing. But like in the beginning of Age of Ultron, I really wasn't a fan of that scene whatsoever. It just felt kind of pretty bland and uninteresting. It just felt like CGI stunts too much compared to this, it's on point.
I think it was fun, that opening scene of Age of Ultron, but didn't feel as intense as what the Russo brothers shoot. So, I mean, you don't get anything like this.
Yeah, it reminds me of quite a bit of 24. Maybe it's just the fact that it's like an infectious disease, and it's the all-American scout boy taking names. He could be Jack Bauer.
Oh, I'd love to see Jack Bauer fight for the Avengers, and I think he could. I mean, if you're going to get Hawkeye, you could totally get Jack Bauer on the Avengers.
Oh, yeah. Well, no spoilers for the Infinity War, but I have a sneaky feeling Kiefer Sutherland's getting a phone call.
We all know that the Russo brothers listen to this podcast.
I hope they do.
Hanson, how many times do you think we've said, I trust the Russo brothers respectively, on this podcast.
I don't know how many times on this podcast I've been saying it since 2014.
Me and Tristan have been saying it since like 2005 and 6 with Arrested Development. We're Russo brother hipsters. You're just late to this party, Hanson.
Yeah, you probably haven't heard of him.
And I like the return of Black Widow. That obviously, I say return more so the fact that obviously she was pregnant during Age of Ultron, which kind of limited what she could realistically do, stunt wise. And with the way they could shoot it, that it really had to be the top half to make it look, even remotely realistic. So it's good to see, Scarlett Johansson, back in the game.
But not only that, a return to the way she was written in Winter Soldier, which was till now the best time that she was written.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before, that Age of Ultron love story was a load of garbage, so
Didn't
I'm glad
work.
to see it got the Star Trek Beyond treatment, and they just jettisoned something they didn't agree with in the last movie and went, nope, we'll not mention that, it's done, it's over, forget it. Because I think often at times, and I'm sure it'll come up a few times, is that, like, Age of Ultron, no matter what people think of it, it did have its flaws, and I think that they really have learned from the flaws and issues in that movie and have, improved it upon. And I think that was a really good thing that, they took the flaws, they took the issues, and they have learned from it. You can see it in this movie with how they deal with the Avengers, how the action's staged, motivations, and even getting rid of some of the plots that people didn't like. They listened to the fans, they listened to some of the feedback from others, and they've refined it, I think. And this movie is a better Avengers movie than the Avengers movie.
Certainly, but I do like how. And I said this to a friend the other night when he saw the movie, that I do like how this movie, even though it jettisons some of the mistakes of Age of Ultron, it still makes Age of Ultron a film that mattered, because you can't do this film without Age of Ultron.
I mean, obviously, I'm not the biggest fan in the world of it, but when I saw this as part of the marathon, obviously coming on the back of Age of Ultron, I thought, yeah, it kind of retroactively enhances the movie.
No, but what I mean is, like, half of the characters' motivations are in this film are a direct result of what happened in Age of Ultron.
Of course. And some of the best scenes that were in Age of Ultron really have kind of been added to here as well, with the tensions between Rogers and Stark.
I love this coming up. That right there, when Black Widow does that parkour thing where she boosts herself up by her hands and then kicks her feet forward. I never get tired of seeing that in movies.
It makes me want a Buffy movie, though.
Makes me think of Casino Royale, the opening scene.
Yeah. Yeah, they shot this on a back lot in Georgia, I believe, that they were struggling to find a set, and like they ended up just like constructing this.
They built this
out in America, yeah, straight from scratch, and they said that it was much better than kind of almost being on location, in a way that they could design it how the camera could flow, and without having to worry about buildings getting in the way or certain historical landmarks. They could build a set around how they wanted to shoot.
I like how quickly everything happens right here.
Yeah.
This is my favorite joke of the entire movie, right here.
Pet Red Wing.
Yeah, he's like, go ahead, pet him.
Yeah, he is a cracking character. I think he's one of the underrated characters of this movie. He gets some cracking lines. Yeah, this fight is it's the first of many, and that when I rewatched the movie for only like the second time the other day, that it always reminded me that pretty much every fight scene in this movie does stand out, and there is a hell of a lot of them over the course, that they really do mix it up with the fighting styles and the banter within them, that they all are unique things. You don't kind of get bored of it over like a 2.5 hour movie.
And what gives me hope is that they also handled not only the ground-based fighting very well, they also handled the cosmic fighting very well in terms of like Scarlet Witch and Vision. So it gives me hope that they'll be able to direct the same kind of cosmic action that obviously Infinity War is going to have.
Yeah, like some of the best stuff the Russo brothers has done has been the hand-to-hand, the visceral stuff that, they can mix it up with the fantasy elements as well.
Now this image, I don't know about you guys, but this image stuck with me the first time I saw this movie of Crossbones frozen mid-explosion in pain. I don't know why, but it did.
I think it's the first of many, relations to real life visual imagery of kind of the war on terror, and it's definitely certainly something that influenced this movie. That's for sure.
Yeah, that kind of shot where the explosion happened in the building. They're focusing on that explosion, and the papers are coming out. And then we see the aftermath with the ambulances and the fire trucks and everything like that. That is not a standard image that you see in a superhero film. That is very rare. Like you see, of course, you see destruction and mayhem and everything like that, but the importance of that explosion is not something that you see very often.
No, we most often gloss over it. Now, what did you guys think of this? Because this is some freaky good CGI.
Yeah,
this
it's pretty
blew
awesome.
my mind. I was blown away. I had no idea what I was seeing until like much later when he gets closer to the camera. But because I started looking at him, I was like, "Wait, what'd they do? What'd they do?" And it was just I thought Ant-Man was amazing.
Yeah, the Michael Douglas one.
Yeah, with what they did with Michael Douglas, and this blew that out of the water.
Yeah, it really does look good, doesn't it?
And I was looking, because I think I had heard through the grapevine before I saw this that this shot was in here, and I was looking for like a flaw, and there really isn't one.
There really isn't. Like, I know we always say this about every single leap forward, but it's hard to imagine it getting better than this.
And it's the eyes as well. I think it's the eyes that sell it. That I think there's just a little bit too much sheen on the skin, but I think the eyes are really, really good. That he looks just that little bit too fishy, but his eyes are on point. But
we're starting to get beyond that point of that uncanny valley that we could never get past about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we are. And I think it really... I knew it was impressive from right away, but it really didn't hit me until we saw present-day Stark stand right next to him.
It must have been a really crisis confidence day for Robert Downey Jr. to see his much younger self, and he's like, oh man. He was probably calling the cosmetic surgeon the next day to see if he could roll back the years of it.
Now, go ahead, Tristan.
Well, I was just going to say that it's funny. Like, I was going through some of the special features on Civil War after I watched it the first time after I bought it, and they had some of the original Iron Man special features on there, and they had some Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3 special features on there as well. It was great. And you start looking at the behind the scenes of Robert Downey Jr. during Iron Man, and it's amazing how much his body and face has changed in that amount of time. From Iron Man 1 to Civil War.
I suppose you forget how long this series has been going on for. It's nearly a decade on, and we even notice the changes on ourselves. That it's crazy to think it's been going this long.
We're 8 years into it at this point.
Crazy town. And yeah, it started all with him. It's fantastic. That movie holds up.
Yes, it does, but I dare say that next to that first movie, I think Downey gives his greatest performance as Tony Stark in this film.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced on that yet, but I'm not arguing with you.
Well, you know what the Russos did, and part of it is because of this, they isolate him. There's no more Pepper by his side for the moment. But what they did with him in comparison to the last couple films he's appeared in is they turned him back into... I would say more of a sympathetic character because, somewhat in Iron Man 3 and then more so in Age of Ultron, especially Ultron where he's essentially playing God and is never that regretful about it. They turn him back into, dare I say it, a human being in this one.
One thing I think this kind of trumps what I thought was his kind of peak was the first real half of Iron Man 3 where we see him with this post-traumatic stress disorder, suffering from real issues. And then that kind of got jettisoned quite quickly. From the trailers, you thought this is going to be a real big theme in the movie. And with this, it's really carried through and dragged throughout the movie. This, pain and, the stress really of kind of trying to keep the world in check for all these years.
Now, this scene right here...
Alfre Woodard.
Mm-hmm. She's an amazing actress. I wish we could see her more in this universe.
Well, we're going to.
But I don't...
She's going to be in the Luke Cage series.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
I didn't know that. Great.
So did I. I thought this was it.
That's fantastic. Okay, well, that just brightened my day. I was waiting for this moment. I was waiting for a moment like this. I'm a big fan of the Civil War comic books.
This is a scene in the comic, right?
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, it's inspired. You can definitely tell what it inspired.
He's confronted by a grieving mother at some point in the comic, right?
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that it's not a direct pull, but you can tell the inspiration, and so that's what I was waiting for. And when we got Alfre Woodard, I was like, oh, fantastic! She's going to be the catalyst. She's going to be the one that tips Iron Man over the edge.
It is amazing how many people were in Sokovia that day. It really was the kind of hotbed of activity from people all around the world.
And that's why I like that it is Sokovia, and it makes Age of Ultron matter. And it would matter because, New York was New York. Sokovia, it was a whole country that got destroyed.
Was it?
I wasn't kind of. I would have thought it was more of a kind of city.
No,
Yeah,
Sokovia. Well, Sokovia I took is kind of like it's kind of like a Luxembourg. It's like a little tiny country, but it is a country.
I would have still thought even then, like, there's obviously the kind of, well, I suppose if it's only really got one major city, and that's obviously kind of decimated, then probably the rest maybe is like kind of farmland or something based on what we see.
They might have their own. I take it they were their own sovereign nation, though, because later we're going to find out that Zemo worked for Sokovian intelligence, and they use terms that make it seem like it's its own country, or it was its own country.
Now, I love the introduction of Black Panther, and I love that we got to meet his dad, and we got to see him and his dad as world leaders before we saw him as superheroes.
Not only that, but I like how we take care of the origin story in this movie, so that when Ryan Coogler does his own Black Panther movie, he's already Black Panther.
Yeah,
I would never have expected the Black Panther introduction to come via MSNBC. I'm looking forward to the deleted scene where the Black Panther's being interviewed by Rachel Maddow.
I know, it's really weird. I mean, like a Captain Marvel is going to be introduced by Fox News. I mean, it was a way left turn. It came out of nowhere. Now, for some reason, this just stuck with me. I want to see everybody else's apartment within the Avengers compound. Like, I want to see what Vision's apartment looks like. I want to see what Cap's apartment looks like. I want to see how it's decorated, and I don't know why.
I have a feeling that like Vision's apartment probably looks exactly like Fraser's apartment in Seattle, even down to his grandfather's chair.
When we see him dressed, he's certainly dressed like Fraser.
Yeah, that was always, as soon as I watched this movie, I was like, that's like a nice mixture of Fraser and Niles. I expected him to start dusting the seat down before he sat down to meet the rest of the team.
There he is.
Lee, I love that you texted me last night that you sent me a picture of Vision, and you're just like, yep, just watching Fraser tonight, need some laughs or something like that. It's so great.
I was watching it with Lauren last night, and she was like, why is he wearing a jumper and shirt? And I was like, he just does it in the comic books. It's a nice little touch. I find it quite amusing.
Now here's something. We finally make Incredible Hulk 2008 really matter.
Yeah.
Didn't we see him again though after that?
No.
This is the second time we saw him? I thought
This is the second time we're seeing him.
Yeah, I always figured, it's not like they wrote it out of canon. I always figured we'd see him again.
Right. No,
I suppose when you've got a play box like this, you don't need to. You can just leave some people on the bench and just call them up when you need them. I suppose that's the benefit of this kind of expanded universe.
That being said, they never make any explicit direct callbacks to that movie until now with his presence.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's girlfriend disappears because they don't want to do Marvel movies anymore. Anybody else notice that?
Yeah.
Well, not everybody. We'll find out in this movie, Haley Atwell is dead.
Well, so you got Pepper Potts, you got Jane Foster, you got what's her name from Hulk.
That's kind of that's your problem right there, isn't it? What's her name? Yeah.
Liv Tyler.
Okay. Thank you,
Yeah,
Liv Tyler.
Yeah.
I like watching these the attacks from these different angles, because I don't think this is stock footage. Some of it is, but some
No,
of it
it's
isn't.
definitely like it's almost kind of like that Batman v Superman thing that we've seen this battle, but here it is from just this sort of different angle, different viewpoint. I mean, that's definitely reused of the ship smashing into the ocean, but it's that kind of different angle as well.
I like how we see Sokovia and then cut to Elizabeth Olsen's reaction.
Yeah, I always like how the Age of Ultron scenes, they're like, that's enough.
Well, she doesn't like seeing the people that she thinks she killed right
No.
here.
I think we were when I was talking with my wife on Nerd Nuptial, we were talking about Civil War, and one thing that I think, I know this isn't the point, and I know that the entire point of the movie is exploring this alternate view, but I think why it's so easy to be Team Cap, regardless of how awesome Iron Man is in his movies. And, like, granted, this is a Captain America movie, but on top of that, whenever people die under Cap's command, it's people dying for the sake of other people, so other people can live. Like, it's like a few people die so that millions could live or hundreds could live, and so you have just a few who die. And every single occasion where that happens with Cap, in every single movie that he's in, that's the story. But when you have Tony Stark and Iron Man, a lot of people have died just because of his actions. No needs of the mini with Iron Man. It's just like, oh crap, I screwed up, people died, and it's not for the benefit of mankind. And so I think that's one reason why I am all for Team Cap in this movie. How about you guys?
Well, I think this is going to be an interesting point where we kind of could potentially be on our way to a civil war. But fire away, Matt. Let's surprise us with you being on Captain America's team.
Well, here's the thing: is that the other thing that I noticed, and I liked the use of, like, we're using the previous incidences against you, but really, New York and Washington, that wasn't their fault. In fact, they were saving a lot of people by doing what they did in both of those instances. Now, Sokovia is their fault, but then that's mostly Tony's fault.
Right.
And so, and to a lesser extent, Bruce's fault because he helped. So I agree with Tristan. I think it's easy to be Team Cap, but what I like about what Tony's side in this is that I like that it's a character seeking atonement. And I think that makes it more interesting. It's still kind of self-serving in that Tony Stark kind of way, but it's a lot more sympathetic.
I think for me, I'm Team Cap because I want to be his best friend and we can have a cuddle. But I think the real...
I'll be doing all the cuddling. Thank you very much.
I think the thing for me is, on this side of the debate, I think both of them are very polarized. I think there is a fair compromise could be reached within there, that you could say it is really how the world is these days, that centrism is a very rare thing. But for me, I believe in sort of oversight, that I see parallels with what we've kind of seen in the past few years, that we've got the Sokovia Accords, and then at the same time here in the UK we had the Chilcot Report, which looked into the Iraq War and how kind of how we went down that road. And then I see like the debates and arguments that they're making, and it really is pulled from the pages of the past few years, that if you ignore the UN, look at the kind of mess that, my country's got itself into. So when I see that, oversight, seeking kind of, that ratification, a consensus before kind of rushing into action and a call to arms, I buy into that. I believe in something like that. In this movie, it's slightly more different. Yeah, I can see where Captain America's coming from. That, do they really need to seek permission and go through all the bureaucracy when the world needs saving, and kind of having to sit in a meeting before they can go into action? But at the same time, that, I don't know how an American audience thinks, but see, especially how more so a few years ago, but less so now, when people look at, say, American decision, and the sort of thing Captain America is saying is, why do we need to go to the UN? We're good enough. We know what we're doing. That's the kind of thing people criticized the previous American administration for a lot in Europe, that's American arrogance. So
right.
Why are they above the UN? So then, while I really like Captain America, I see a lot of the misplaced arrogance that has caused a lot of problems around the world, that has, caused a huge amount of issues.
What did you guys think of this bad guy?
And now, I was going to say, speaking of cuddlingly, this is your boyfriend.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Daniel Bruhl. He's on my man crush list. But I've said it when we had our podcast on him. I really like, if you're listening to this commentary, you've probably listened to the film. You're not listening to this as a kind of first time. I think he's an excellent villain in the way that he really is a puppet master without having to do something incredibly convoluted. That he is just there pulling the strings, and that he's doing that really, really well, that we don't need to make him out to be some sort of megalomaniac genius with this 6,000, plot foolproof plan, that he's just someone there that really is taking advantage of fissures that are there. He's just giving it that gentle push, and that's all he needs to do. He's just playing along that. Yeah, he's not the main villain. He's not a big villain that like a Loki or a Joker or something like that.
But he doesn't need
to be. And the film would be the worse for something like that. It doesn't need to spend 1/3 of its running time concentrating on this villain. They just need to cut to him every so often, just playing the game and playing it really well without having something like, say, the Lex Luthor thing, which I thought was brilliantly played in that kind of honest trailer where they went, oh, he needed to do this, and this. His motivation is really clear, and he's just got one mission. He just needs this bit of information, and that's really going to cause the earthquake between the Avengers. It's simple. I can tell you his plan in a sentence, and that's something that's been missing in villains these days. That gone are the days where a villain could be like that. Nowadays, they have to have some sort of weird, long family relationship to the villain, that they need to be all these different things. It's just a simple villain that is pushing the plot forward, and I liked it. It was refreshing.
Well, not just a simple villain. What I like about Zemo in this film is that, unlike even the Marvel villains, I'll throw the Marvel villains under the bus a little bit, because almost every villain ends with some sort of like world dominating plot and universe ending proportions, and here it's none of that stuff. He could care less about ruling the world. It's nothing but revenge, and that makes it more personal.
What about you, Tristan?
I thought he was fine. I'm not trying to undercut it. I think you guys gave very, very solid points. I just didn't really attach to him. I don't know why. I mean, I liked his motivation, but I didn't really dig on him as a bad guy.
Yeah, he's definitely forgettable, and he's not one of these people. And I think people will kind of do the usual thing which has been highly wanted a lot with Marvel. Oh, it's another kind of boring villain and all that sort of stuff. But with this, it's not really trying to do what they've maybe tried to do with, say, the bad guy in the Thor movies or the bad guys in Iron Man movies. This is just someone that's just a puppet master that's just in the background, that he's not. He's. I don't think I can't judge him the way would judge those other villains more harshly, because they really do underplay him. He's just there to service the plot, and not in a kind of he's servicing the plot way, but that is what he's doing. He's just servicing this tension, and he's doing it well. It's forgettable, but the work he does is unforgettable.
Yeah, and we're not. I think the movie doesn't ask us to attach to him. This movie is rightly focused on the fact that it's focused on what this scene playing out is doing. It's focused on the tensions between these characters that we already like.
And he's not even done anything really at this stage, and the tensions are already underway. And when he kind of comes into play, he's just pushing that just that little bit further, that his work hasn't even started yet, and there's problems within the Avengers that, yeah, he's essentially obsolete, but he really does kind of finish it off in a way later on with the revelation.
By the way, I like this look at on Cap's face when Widow's kind of siding with Tony. He looks kind of betrayed.
Yeah. And no one would have expected her to be on the side of Tony Stark, and that was a pleasant surprise.
I really like this scene. I like this conversation. I love these kind of back and forths that they do.
The best staff meeting ever.
This one thing that it's really funny, because this just goes to show you how different Cap is from other people and other characters, because the things that he was saying, like that, the safest hands are still our own, and like we have this power and we should only trust ourselves and everything like that. The way that he phrased it, the way that he talked about it, if you put those words in a lesser man's mouth, you would just say you're a vigilante and you need to be controlled. But because Captain America is saying it, it is, you just like, okay, all right, I understand. Yeah, go for it.
I mean, he's the one person in this universe that you can, until we're shown that he's keeping a secret at the end of this film, we think he's the one person in this universe that we can take him at his word. Absolutely,
Even
100%
then, man.
of the time.
He really is a kind of relic of a bygone era in a lot of brilliant ways, that he believes that they can do things best, that, working together, they can strive to overcome things. And that's in a way something that's lost in, nowadays. And I think he really is a kind of throwback to a simpler time, in a way that his motivations, his beliefs really are simple. And that's not necessarily a bad thing to have in a character. Sometimes it's maybe something that's been lost these days in film writing, that everyone's motivations need to be convoluted and tied back to some childhood experience or losing mummy and daddy. Sometimes people are good people, and you build from that, good values.
Tristan, you read the comic Civil War, and I
did too.
And Lee, you read it too. So if I recall correctly, this is actually paraphrasing a speech that Cap himself gives in the comic, right? The "Know You Move" speech.
Cap did say that. Yeah, I cannot remember if it was in Civil War. I honestly can't remember if he said that line in Civil War, but I do know that Cap said it. Like, it's a very famous Cap quote. And it is interesting that they had somebody else say it in this.
But I like how they had someone else say it, and that's what gives him the extra gumption to stand his ground, basically. And I do like how they wrap up the Peggy storyline. It's very bittersweet. It's very sad, and we kind of got to see that in Winter Soldier, where she couldn't remember really who he was after a few seconds.
Yeah, it needed to be wrapped up. Like, I like it, don't get me wrong, but it needed to be wrapped up, and I think they chose the right time to do it.
And I like how you see like genuine friendships between the two of them, that even though there's kind of tensions, that like people do look out for each other, that they are still that arm around each other. Like, this genuinely feels like a real relationship that's happened. This is something that's been built up.
They feel like brother and sister, and I think it helps so much that Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson just have great chemistry together, I think.
Brother and sister who kiss like Luke and Leia.
I know. Oh dear. All part of the plan.
They only kissed that once to avoid detection.
Let's get the Jedi Masters in here for a minute. I'll get them on the dial.
So I had forgotten that Jeremy Renner and Anthony Mackie were together in the Hurt Locker.
That's right, yeah.
It is surprising how many people get screen time in this movie, and it doesn't feel like it's too convoluted.
Or unbalanced.
It still feels like a Captain America movie as well.
Yeah. I still feel like they could tighten this movie and cut a few people out, but for what they did and how many people they included, it is paced very well.
I think that's why it's works so well, in a way that like everyone's motivation is really kind of clear, so it doesn't feel like any scene's wasted. That when you look back, that this movie really does have quite a simple plot, and like the motivations are really clear, and the debates are interesting, and it never feels that kind of you're ever stopping and thinking, right, wait, why are they doing this? What's the point of this? That everything just flows that way so well that you're not having to almost stop and think, right, wait, what was that about? Wait, why is he doing this? Or where's this kind of come from? It's good writing that makes it flow so well and gives these characters clear motivations, that you don't find yourself getting bogged down in thinking about one scene before you've flown on to the next.
Right, and I think they had to, they didn't have to, but I think they chose to include as many people as they did, because for a lot of these people, say for Downey, because we know he's going to be in Spider-Man, for a lot of these people, this is the last time we're going to see them before Infinity War.
When Black Panther's father started speaking in their native tongue and he started incorporating the clicks, I was like, bravo, man. I got massive respect for that actor, because that is hard to do.
Now we're on to meeting 65 of Captain America Civil War.
And yet, I'm never bored during any of these meetings.
No.
I love that we see it from Panther's perspective. Like the camera stays with him, and we all like he knows exactly that something's wrong, and he doesn't think about it. He acts. Just sadly too late.
Chadwick Boseman. Really glad they got him.
Oh, absolutely.
He was excellent. Get On Down. He was amazing in that movie. I remember seeing that not long after he got cast in the role. So I'm very excited to see what he's going to do with the role. That he's not a character I'm overly familiar with compared to quite a few of the other Avenger comic books. So yeah, I'm quite excited. Definitely after seeing this, I'm on board with it and the casting too. Now
he was in 42 as well, right?
Yes.
That movie should have been better. But when I watched it, I realized that I knew that we were going to see more of Chadwick Boseman.
I liked him in it, and I didn't think the movie was that bad. Now, Tristan, did you ever see Get On Up?
No, I didn't. I have not yet.
It's very, very good. He really, he's good in this, but he's outstanding in that movie. As James Brown, he's got it all.'s got charisma. He can do humor. He can do drama. He really does have it all in his locker. So I'm looking forward to seeing him get his own movie and show even a larger range of talents.
That movie got so overshadowed coincidentally in theaters because it just happened to have the misfortune of coming out on the same weekend as, ironically, Guardians of the Galaxy.
The joy of counter-programming. Find out about counter-programming on Filibuster Episode 6.
Counter-programming. Okay, so Chris Evans, much like Christian Bale in the Batman movies, his body changes drastically from movie to movie. And it's funny, it almost mirrors Christian Bale a little bit because in the first one, he's just a beast. He's just huge all over. And then in Winter Soldier, he's much leaner. And
I suppose he didn't have much to eat for 70 years.
But did you?
Okay, let me finish. Jeez.
Wait a minute, though.
Let me finish. Jeez.
Winter Soldier,
okay, so once
he's
we
much
get
leaner.
Shut up. Yes, he's much leaner. And then, like, he's still, of course, muscular, but he's much leaner. Much like Christian Bale was in The Dark Knight. Ripped, but lean. And you have Civil War, where he gets that muscular, like a chest back, but then his head is skinnier. It's weird. Like you look at it in Dark Knight Rises as well as Civil War, they compare, like it's very parallel. It's very interesting.
I never noticed that. I mean, in Winter Soldier, I didn't notice he was that much leaner because they got that scene of him in the tank top and his shoulders are massive. Like he's just a big guy in general. So like I never see him as totally lean.
No, I'm not saying he was lean. I said he was leaner than what he was in First Avengers. First Avenger, whatever you want to say.
And I suppose that's kind of common. You think of the famous story with Christian Bale that he was so beefed up to go shoot Batman Begins that Christopher Nolan was like, no, that's too beefed up. You need to get thinner. So I suppose that there's probably a thing where they're almost overcompensating in the first one. And it's the same with even Daniel Craig in Casino Royale. That these actors in the first one, they get so pumped up, especially for these kind of topless images, which really do sell them as the kind of the superhero, the super spy, the super human Batman. It's all in that image, and then in the second one, they're kind of allowed to be a bit more kind of toned down a little.
It's got to kind of suck for the actors though, and especially in this Marvel verse, considering that the sequels are shot so close to one another, they have to maintain this shape constantly.
Yeah, I'm sure the pay packet evens it up.
That's true. It's hard to feel bad for them.
No, I'm not saying I feel like, the poor baby or anything like that, but it's, when you think about it, I have enough time trying to diet and exercise as it is. Imagine trying to have to keep the regime that they must have to keep.
No wonder Chris Evans can't wait for his Marvel contract to finish. He's just desperate for like a Costco red velvet cake and then some of the muffins on top of that. He's just going to have like a Fat Friday for a year when the contract ends. That the day after Age of Ultron, Infinity War 2, he'll just be beefing up. You'll see him as like the kind of Val Kilmer of his generation. Just like photos of him in like National Enquirer beefed up.
You're ruining my fantasies, Lee.
No. He deserves it. Screw your fantasy. Let him have his fat year like we all do.
I want him to be signed forever.
your mom and dad are gonna have to sit you down one day and tell you about the contract negotiations.
No, I know.
Well, Matt, one day men sign a contract for 7 films, and then when that film ends, it's up for renewal. And sometimes a man will say, "I don't want it to be renewed," and sometimes they'll say, "I want to commit to this relationship longer."
It's pretty. I had the same kind of conversation with my parents when they told me that Shatner was going to die one day, and I was like, no.
Dude, I'm taking contracts right now in law school. I know all about this stuff.
Are you going to be outside like the Georgia headquarters at Marvel, just like, "I've got you by the loop, but Evans, you're signed up for life"?
All right, what's that again?
That's the EMP bomb that he'll use later.
Right.
Does that project a blue beam into the sky? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's weird. And then there's garbage that just swirls around in the circle, and then robots come in. It's crazy.
Oh, you got your Marvel check, did you?
And then there's some weird woman doing the hula dance around it.
So this was okay, I'll be honest with you. I'm freaking tired of Bucky. I'm exhausted on this character.
Ooh, Tumblr will be after you.
No.
I'm exhausted on this character, but this scene kind of revitalized it for me. Like when this scene happened, I was like, okay, maybe I can see him. I can watch this for the rest of the film. But I think when I saw the trailer and we saw Bucky and Cap against Iron Man at the same time for that final scene, I was just like, okay, that's worth it.
This plot thread, obviously, we joked about 24 earlier on. This really reminds me of the start of season 5 of 24, when like Bauer's framed and you see him on the CCTV camera, and no one stops thinking, "Can we just double check if that's genuine?" They always go, "Oh, it's the Winter Soldier. It must be him. Let's go get him."
Oh man, how many times was Bauer framed and then brought back, and then
as many times as he was captured by the Chinese and Russians.
Oh, man. I love the foreign candy bars. That always fascinates me.
And I like how as well that this, it really has that kind of realistic thing with, they do have, foreign secret services are operating that, they mentioned, MI6, the German Special Forces. All these, real-world things that we all kind of think of Marvel as a bit kind of... it's not the DC grounded in reality, but they have so many, despite the fact they've got the Avengers and superheroes, they do have, the genuine spies and armies and military kind of kicking about and interacting with them as well. And it really kind of grounds it in the real world in its own way.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely some influence from the Russo brothers there.
Mm-hmm.
Is that worldly atmosphere and bringing in those real world organizations. Because beforehand, it was really just S.H.I.E.L.D.
S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah. Now here comes German Special Forces, and I think that there's definitely, I mentioned it with Winter Soldier, that I think this whole scene coming up here in the stairwell in the building, if anyone hasn't seen it, the movie The Raid, it's one of the most influential action movies of the past few years. Asian action, and it's this, a lot of scenes are quite like this, that really intense hand-to-hand combat in tight locations and housing estates. There's definitely parallels between that. I think it's got to be an inspiration for the Russo brothers again.
It was. They did actually mention that film by name when they were talking about the fight choreography for this one.
And definitely, please seek it out. It's an amazing action movie. You won't forget it.
It's amazing that all the bullets hit Bucky in the arm.
I know.
It's quite lucky.
I know it's lucky, but
Lucky Bucky.
I always think the same thing about, they always shoot Captain America when he's holding up the shield, and it takes Spider-Man to realize to go for his legs.
Yeah, just aim it, just kneecap him. Jack Bauer would kneecap him. There you go.
Actually, yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because the second time I watched it, I didn't notice this line the first time I saw it, but Spidey actually says, "Oh yeah, Tony told me to get your legs." That's really, I thought that was really interesting.
Sometimes it's the simplest thing. It's not like some convoluted weapon needs to be used to take him out. Just get him in the legs. Shoot him in the back.
It kind of makes me think of the Austin Powers movie when
Yes.
Seth Green's character is like, "What? You're not even gonna watch him die?" It's like, no, I'm just gonna assume everything went to plan.
I just saw You Only Live Twice at the cinema like half an hour ago. It was safe to say Austin Powers is fresh in my mind at this moment.
He's like, I've got a gun in my room right now. I will go get it, shoot him, boom, bang, it's done. Oh.
Now, Matt, I'm curious, what's your thoughts on the Bucky-Steve relationship? I know it's like a big firm favourite with the Tumblr community. What's your take on it? Are you a big fan of it, or are you invested in it?
I mean, I'm not invested in it to the way that these Tumblr people are, but I like the friendship, and I don't think it's anything slash-fic worthy. I think it's just, genuine brotherly love between these two people. And really, I mean, the reason that Cap goes out of his way so much for him in this film is because, I mean, with the death of Peggy, he's the only vestige of the past he has left.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And now Catwoman's kicking off now, taking on Bucky Barnes.
Oh man. Okay. So I was just talking with my parents. Just they were here visiting, and we were talking about how like these kids these days like don't understand even recent history. And they were talking about like political history and everything like that. And I was like, yeah, just the other day, I saw this young kid say, oh, wow, that girl looks like the mom from Dark Shadows. And I was like, the mom from Dark Shadows? You mean Michelle Pfeiffer? Michelle Pfeiffer is who you mean. You call her Michelle Pfeiffer and you say Miss Michelle Pfeiffer, not the mom from Dark Shadows, you Philistine.
Or at least call her Catwoman. Don't quote Dark Shadows.
Ugh, the disrespect.
I can't believe someone actually saw Dark Shadows.
I still don't believe I saw it.
I love the way that this garage scene is shot.
Oh yeah, like that is some super running. Like I've got a half marathon next week. I'm going to be making record time if I can find out their secret.
I loved how it's shot. Obviously, the motorcycle shot was freaking amazing and really impressive, and I love how they sped it up and they're making them run faster than cars. The only thing that I didn't really dig is that the Black Panther specifically, his CGI when he was jumping around and moving around was the most obvious of everyone, which I think is really weird because you think his would be the easiest to do because he's all black.
True. Yeah.
I actually like that there's a superhero in a superhero costume just driving a car, like it's totally normal. Like it, I never really picked up on that the first time. It was when I was watching it last night. I was like, I kind of like that. It's pretty cool. It's just like, it's Captain America on his daily commute, just in his uniform.
He's got his coffee mug.
Yes, I agree that the Black Panther CGI was a little weak here, but this scene made it worth it right here.
Yeah. It's a hell of an entrance. I've been trying to perfect that motorcycle jump myself.
Grab the motorcycle as it's going the wrong way.
Yeah, just having a wee spin round and stuff. I always have to try and make sure there's like a crowd of women near me when I do it.
Now, is it true that you've only broken 5 bones so far? Is that right?
Just the moment I'm doing this live recording this from the hospital, but I'll get it on the 6th time.
You'd like to do it with a bunch of women. Presumably, your girlfriend can come too.
Exactly. Yeah, she can watch and go, "Oh wow, he's so badass." This is like the longest stretch of road since the one at the end of Fast and the Furious 6.
Again, the Russos know how to film a car crash.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, like that right there. Ugh. Ugly Panther.
Yeah, he's certainly got his claws though.
Yeah, his suit is so badass.
I was gonna say I do like the costume.
Oh man, it's so cool.
And here's now the rebranded back to his original brand, Iron Patriot. No, not Iron Patriot, the War Machine.
War Machine.
Because Iron Patriot is doesn't sound as intimidating.
Well, he was already back to War Machine in Ultron.
Yeah. I always liked how it was like Iron Patriot, and they went, no, that's not sounding too good. That's not good for PR. We'll call you War Machine. Oh, okay.
I'm not trying to be funny here, but he was in Ultron.
Yes, he was in Ultron. He helps out at the end.
The best thing about, the one part, you'll remember him is, he's the one telling the really bad jokes at the beginning and stuff, trying to impress people.
Don't you remember he's the one who tries to help Tony lift the hammer? when they're doing the hammer.
Oh, okay, yes. Okay, I do remember that now. Okay, thank you.
Oh, and it's back to Seattle.
So I just read that apparently his, like, that, not this look, but the first look that we saw him in, it was actually inspired by Cary Grant.
And I must say, I really think the accent's much improved for in this movie as well.
You mean Elizabeth Olsen?
Yeah, it's much better.
The accent's improved because if you notice, it's mostly gone.
Yeah,
That's why
she's
it's
done
improved.
She's done a Marina Sirtis.
Yeah.
Nice niche joke for 5 of our listeners there.
No, but it's true. She's emigrated.
Yes, that's it.
You'd think the people of Sokovia would have gratitude.
Great joy and gratitude.
Great Scottish accents, guys, but can we try and do a Sokovia one now?
No, well, apparently Sokovia. I mean, I love Elizabeth Olsen. Don't get me wrong, but Sokovia accent apparently means to talk like Boris and Natasha from Rocky and Bullwinkle.
I thought it sounded a bit more like Borat. Avengers, I like.
I think that's the name of the episode.
Let me say something nice about these two, though. I like the fact that in this movie, I mean, in the last time we saw them, they were very, very overpowered and they were larger than life, scary kind of people. Here, much of what the Russos do is their ability to ground even the most larger than life people, and they manage to do a fairly good job with both Vision and Scarlet Witch. I feel more for both of them in this film.
Now, what's the name of the guy who's the transporter and the mechanic? And is it Jason
Statham?
Oh, snap. Jinx, that's us both quiet now till the end of the show until Tristan lifts it.
So with Jason Statham, apparently, after, it was before Civil War, but after Ultron, he had a famous quote where he said that, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was complaining about how anybody... He's like, Marvel movies are just stunt doubles and CGI and everything like that. There's no real action involved. And then Paul Bettany was on Conan, and Conan asked him about that. What do you think of that? And he said, he's like, well, I think that's for someone who says that, I think Jason Statham could use an acting double. And I was just like, oh,
It's true.
I love Jason Statham, though. He's my guilty. I will see any Jason Statham movie. There's something about him that I just find he's such a great personality. Yeah. I think that's a good joke, but I will stand by Jason Statham.
Well, it's kind of like me and Keanu Reeves. I friggin' love Keanu Reeves. I will watch anything with Keanu Reeves in it, but I can't say that he's the best actor.
No. When you get movies like, say, The Matrix and John Wick, which kind of tailor to his acting abilities, that's when he's at his best.
By the way, behind the scenes note, the second unit directors of this film were the John Wick directors.
That's right, yeah. I remembered freaking out when that was cast, when that was announced. That I don't know if you guys have seen John Wick, but that is one of the best action movies of the past few years. It's just amazing.
Nerd confession, I have not seen it yet, and I'm really disappointed in myself.
There you go. John Wick and The Raid, your double bill.
Will do. No joke.
I don't know, Tristan. I know a dog gets killed at the beginning of John Wick, and that might offend your delicate sensibilities.
I do have delicate sensibilities, but I knew that going in, so I can prepare myself. Just cover my eyes real quick or hit the fast forward button when I think it's coming.
Talking about accents, I thought Boseman did a fairly good job.
Yeah.
From the fictional country that he's from. Yeah, I thought it was spot on too.
Well, I mean, it sounds credibly African. Unlike, say, someone like, lest we forget Halle Berry in the first X-Men.
Oh, good lord.
No one will ever forget. And here's Martin Freeman, a Brit
For
doing an
no
American
reason.
accent. I remembered when he was cast, people were like, he's going to be the British PM. Oh, that's amazing. But yeah, he's just...
Apparently this guy is a Black Panther character, though, so he'll probably have a bigger role in that film.
Okay, I was wondering. I was like, why on earth is Martin Freeman here?
The promise of more films.
They were probably big fans of The Office. Unlike the girl in her Hey of the UK office. I mean, oh my god.
I love that stung you so bad.
Oof. Words will be said one day about that. But I think Martin Freeman does a pretty convincing American accent, even though I like it's hard for me because I know his British accent so well. It always strikes me as a bit fake, but like I think it's pretty good.
It's not bad.
This is like an insight into me here. Like, love situation rooms. I love them. They're a guilty pleasure.
This
even
is
a few
straight out of 24.
Yeah, even a few months ago, I was trying to find if there was like an actual book that I could buy all about the White House Situation Room, like the history of it. But there wasn't. There was just articles. I love situation rooms. I find them so fascinating and interesting to look at in fiction and in reality. So this scene was pretty awesome for me. I was like, oh.
I have to agree with you, Lee. Like I have an unnatural love for situation rooms, and I love it when the sit room is like a homemade sit room where they're in a warehouse somewhere, but they hang those really cool lights, from the ceiling, like 90 feet worth of electrical cord and rope and everything like that. And they got those horseshoe lights that hang above the tables, and it totally doesn't make sense to have it. Yes.
I think you guys just like the big map with all the clocks on top of it.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. I would have that. I was saying that to my girlfriend last night. I was like, if I had like a man cave, I would just have like all the clocks, the digital clocks, like, oh, it's 9 o'clock in America. I better get podcasting with Matt soon. And, just...
I love that you just said it's 9 o'clock in America. Like, we have one time zone.
Exactly. Pacific time.
Now, Lee, since we're talking about accents, you have to do this for me. Because you love me. I love your American accent so much.
Which region would you like me to do one?
My hometown, Midwest.
Oh yeah. Bit funny looking, yeah.
What was that?
That was a Fargo accent. I don't know.
All right, I guess I should have been more specific.
He's a
That's
bit
all right.
funny looking.
I'll let you off the hook.
That's a Scotsman trying to do Francis McDormand is what that was.
You heard it here first, folks. I love how Tony gets sarcastic here when he's like, "Oh, you knew him? Are you sure?"
It's really passive aggressive. I really like it.
Yeah.
Both of them are being really passive aggressive in this scene.
Yeah. You can almost just see the contempt on Captain America's face, like just like the constant, just like looking at him, kind of almost eye rolling his.
So, with this scene or this movie in general, when you guys saw Cap and Iron Man interacting together, was it at all tainted with the behind the scenes knowledge that Robert Downey demanded more screen time and money?
No.
Me neither. Which is so weird because I feel like if this was another actor, another movie, that would kind of piss me off, but it didn't on this one.
Like, for me, I didn't know that he had contracted to get more screen time. I don't know if that's, the talk of the internet or comes from Radar Online and their amazing rumor resources. But, like, I have no issue with that whatsoever. Like, it doesn't bother me. Like, everyone's out to get their fair money and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, they're going to make a Captain America 3 movie anyway, so he's kept Chris Evans is signed on anyway. Robert Downey Jr. is like, well, you want me, we don't have a deal, pay up and all that sort of stuff. So I think he'd be a fool not to kind of get as much money out of it as he can. And Marvel historically, up until I think this movie, really were quite tight. That the regime they had at Marvel was like real penny pinching. That even down to like some of the premieres were really like tight fisted. Like you could fly on the plane, but your plus one wasn't going to be flying in first class. And I think Kevin Feige really started to get control more than he had with this movie to kind of make these sorts of deals to get the Robert Downey Jr.'s to probably have a better spread at the premiere.
Well, here's the thing: is that from what I read, that big split that happened between Marvel and the Marvel CEO and Kevin Feige originated because of this movie. And specifically, when they first proposed this movie, they said, "Okay, you can have Downey, but we're not paying him that much, so you get him for like a bit part, and you can't do this story where Iron Man is a bit part." So, I think the amount of screen time that they ended up giving him as a result of the split and as a result of the negotiations is justified because you need him in this movie in order for this story to work.
And also the split became beneficial for the company overall, really.
And I think it's going to be really interesting to see where they go in phase 3. That we can almost compare the two reigns, you know, if it was a justified decision.
So far, it's looking like it is, though.
Yeah.
And I think it's at the point where Disney's kind of doing the right thing and just like, you know, let Kevin Feige do whatever he wants to do.
Man, Disney is just on point these past couple of years.
Well, now, you know, they've got Marvel, Pixar, and Star Wars.
It's just ridiculous. They're just writing checks left and right.
And they've got the Cars universe as well.
Well, that's Pixar, but I mean, say what you will, Pixar does still make them a lot of money.
Oh yeah, like I joke about the Cars thing, but like that is a huge moneymaker for them. That up until then, like they weren't, like their toy sales weren't the greatest in the grand scheme of things, but like the amount of money they made off toy sales from the Cars movie by appealing to young boys was huge. That's why it got the sequel it did. That's like why you get thousands of like Cars toys and images. Like what people accused George Lucas of doing with Return of the Jedi, like Pixar were doing really with Cars. And here we go, Daniel Bruhl again. I think he's a fantastic European actor. I was really over the moon to see like someone of his quality brought into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He really is a fantastic actor.
I mean, I loved him in Inglourious Bastards.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing with like Marvel every so often, that you get like a name that you don't expect, whether it's behind the scenes or in front of the camera. You think, oh, that's unexpected. That's brilliant. I can't wait to see Martin Freeman. I love him in The Office. Oh, I can't wait to see Daniel Bruhl, this amazing European actor, you know, appearing in these kind of movies. It really is cool when they can surprise you with these kind of casting decisions and choices.
I can't wait for some of these upcoming ones like Kurt Russell and Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I'm excited about Kurt Russell coming in. And of course, Michael Keaton. I hope that they don't do to them what they did to Glenn Close.
Yeah, that was frustrating. I mean, is she going to be in this sequel?
Yes. Yeah, she is.
Oh, cool.
Okay, well, hopefully we'll get some more of her, or maybe they'll actually let her be a character.
And I like as well that we're still like in this mystery of like, what is this book? What is the code words? Like, what is this guy's motivation? That it's not like with like Ultron and Loki and everyone, we knew what their game plan was from like minute one. With this, it's like a genuine mystery. And like with too many like superhero movies, action movies, that everything is face value. We know what we're getting every scene. Like, oh yeah, this is happening to get this point. With this, it's like it keeps you hooked. You're like, where is this going? That it's nice to not know necessarily where the movie's going to end up in these kind of big blockbusters.
And what I like about that is the Russos play with that trope, right? Because we're going to be told in a scene that directly follows this whole sequence, we're going to be told what supposedly the plot is. And that's supposedly what the plot we think is going to be the plot for the whole movie. And it's nothing but a red herring.
In a way, you know, you wonder that I know that they were saying in the original script that if they didn't get like Iron Man, it was going to be about like activating those super soldiers, and that is the red herring in a way, that, oh yeah, this is what they were going to do in the original film, but then when they get Captain America, Iron Man, they can go, forget them, we'll kill them. It's a nice change, I think.
Everybody's dressed really awesomely. Like, they all have really amazing jackets.
Both this and Winter Soldier, the civilian wear is really cool.
Yeah. Whoever, I want to see if it's the same costume designer, because I know that they used a lot of the same people from Winter Soldier.
I'd imagine so.
I love I don't know why I'm commenting on this, but I love the sound that arm makes whenever it's being used.
Yeah.
Also, that shot that we just saw when they moved from room to room, it looked there was some cutting, but they hid the cuts really well, where the camera just tracked to the left and we followed the fight as Cap was getting hit back and back and back. It was really cool. He falls a lot in this movie.
He does.
Yeah. They almost fall as much as Chris Pine does in the Star Trek movies.
He does fall a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah. Ever since I saw that Honest trailer where he falls and does that little gurning face and stuff, it's impossible not to notice it happening in the movies.
Time to ditch the jacket.
Oh, yeah.
So we can show off the muscles for the helicopter scene.
Welcome to the gun show.
Apparently what happened was that the costume designer or whomever incorrectly had him wear a jacket during the helicopter scene, and the directors were like, get that off of him!
Thank you, Russo brothers. I appreciate you.
And they come in with the baby oil as well.
I love this sequence where it's the three of them,
great.
or the four of them versus
I love that
Bucky.
shot where he tries to take the gunshot. That like reaction from Downey Jr. is amazing. It's such a cool image.
For the longest time, I wasn't sure where the bullet went or like how close it was to him. Like when I watched the trailer, I thought it hit him in the sunglasses and he was wearing bulletproof sunglasses or something. It was weird the way that it was shot.
You didn't see that he puts his hand over the gun?
I wasn't sure like if he deflected it or moved it or what he did. I don't know. I missed it. Does anybody know? I know nothing about Black Panther. Does anybody know what makes him special?
No.
Is it like family heritage?
I think it's family heritage. Well, obviously he's royalty.
Well, no, I know he's royalty, but the thing is, how can he compete against the Winter Soldier?
Because from what I understand, from what my dad told me about Black Panther, is that his society has very, very advanced technology.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not the most clued up in the world on Black Panther as well, so I can only speculate.
You know, Tristan will find out in 2 years.
You're right. Or I
Tune
can
in
Wikipedia
2 years'
that guy.
time to find out what does make him special.
Besides looking awesome in a sports jacket. So here we go. Now I want to read a quote of Chris Evans here, where like some people were saying like, oh, his biceps were enhanced by CGI, because there's always naysayers out there.
That's
but
all him.
Oh, I know. Yes, I know. That's here's the quote. He said, "That was really my arm, and you know what? I took a page from Anthony Mackie's book. When we were doing Avengers: Age of Ultron for certain scenes, I worked out just before the take, but there were a bunch of scenes where I was the only one out of the cast doing it, and I'd be embarrassed and feel shame. So I didn't do it that often, and then we started Civil War, and Mackie has no shame. Before each take, Mackie's just curling weights nonstop, and I thought, yeah, what are you doing, Chris? Just curl some weights. Who cares? I'm not going to worry about 20 people judging me, as opposed to 200 million people seeing the scene forever. So before the helicopter scene, I lifted a lot of weights to get pumped. It's not like I woke up and I looked like that. That was me lifting weights for hours on end prior to filming that scene. There certainly was a lot of pressure. I was fully aware of what they wanted that shot to be. I wanted that shot to be great too." That's awesome.
Yeah. And he looks good.
He looks amazing. That's an awesome scene, especially, and it means so much more once you realize Bucky's in it.
You can imagine there's a hell of a lot of testosterone kicking around that set.
But by the way, there he went falling again.
Yeah.
Geez, what is that, number 4? Yeah.
If this was the Words with Nerds version of the commentary track, they would be having a shot every time someone fell.
I thought this was a really nice addition with the voicemail and his character.
Yeah.
Because I was fooled. Like, when I first heard him, I was just like, oh, this guy's just gallivanting around the world trying to wreak havoc, and he's leaving his family back at home. I was
Oh,
totally
so you thought
fooled.
they were still alive, and that was him getting the message.
Absolutely. I was one of those people.
Should also take a shot every time someone watches something on the news.
Now here we get finally the post-credit scene from Ant-Man.
Yeah.
My favorite part of Ant-Man.
I didn't mind Ant-Man.
Ant-Man was a good film.
I'm a big enough Paul Rudd fan that the fact that it's a superhero movie is secondary to that. I just enjoy his company and time on screen. I think he's a great comic talent.
And plus, what I like about him is that in this film, it shows that he's going to mesh well with the main cast, which good thing.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, Paul Rudd's
He's
awesome.
He plays you, Matt, and if you met the Avengers, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my God, it's Captain America! It's Captain America!
Well, I think both Ant-Man and Spider-Man are like the avatars for the audience if we ever met the Avengers.
Course. Wait, Spider-Man's in this movie?
Dude, spoiler alert.
I know, we'll get to meet him soon enough.
Fun fact, Lee spoiled the Spider-Man shot for me on Twitter when they released the trailer for Civil War.
I sent you the
I
trailer
remember
and you
listening.
didn't watch it?
What?
I sent you a text with the trailer and you didn't watch it?
No, I was on Twitter when you sent me the text. And then right when you sent me the text, before I could even click it, Lee posted a picture saying, "Oh, I'm totally excited about Spider-Man." I was like, son of a bitch!
I know. I did feel slightly bad when I listened to that very passive-aggressive podcast. But I was kind of tempered by the fact that I was probably one of 8 million people that posted that screen cap.
That's true. But the first in my timeline.
I know. What a douche. But then I like how it cuts back again to this car thing that, I don't think anyone at this point thought, who he was assassinating.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, I guess we could talk about it now, but I was going to ask more when we got to the scene. When did you put it together that was Howard and Maria Stark?
Not really till the end, to be honest. I was, in my own defense, I was pretty tired by that point. I'd had a long day. But, I think it's played really cool and close to the chest that I never really was thinking.
What about you, Tristan?
No, I was the same. I was surprised that I was surprised, because you'd think we all knew that they died in a car crash,
and it was hinted in the flashes in Winter Soldier when they're in what's his name's Toby Jones, whoever, I forget his character's name, but when they found him in the computer room and he replays all the archive, you just see this clip of this newspaper that says Howard and Maria Stark die in car accident, and then it flashes to a picture of the Winter Soldier, so it's pretty much implied.
Yeah, they did a really good job of laying it down, and yeah, that's all those reasons put together. I didn't think about it until that final scene. I was just like, oh, that's clever, that's cool. But then at the same time, I was so confused, because wouldn't they be able to tell that someone took a shotgun to the side of the car? No? Am I alone in this?
It was a car accident. They didn't say it was it probably was in the article somewhere that, by the way, it was deliberate. That still doesn't preclude the fact that they probably didn't know who did it, though.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you'd think that Tony would have been able to figure out that foul play was involved.
Now, I've got some boring information for you that I have researched on the Nerd Party computer here at HQ. We were talking, obviously, about the screen time. I've not been able to find the exact minutes, but Captain America has 156 lines in this movie to Iron Man's 154.
Ooh.
War Machine has 27, Hawkeye has 25, Ant-Man 30, Black Panther 28, Vision 28, Scarlet Witch 34, The Winter Soldier 47, Spider-Man 47, Black Widow 58, Falcon 61.
What was Hawkeye?
Hawkeye was 25.
25. But important lines. I liked Hawkeye in this one.
Oh yeah. You're pulling your punches.
This is the best Hawkeye that we've ever gotten. I liked him fine in Avengers. I liked him more in Age of Ultron because they gave him more to do. And I like him the best here. I think Renner finally gets it.
I don't think it's Renner. I think it's the writers. I think the writers finally get it.
I should clarify, because Renner's awesome, and I think the writers finally are writing to his sensibilities. And to me, because I watched the old the Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon, Renner in this film felt the most like that Hawkeye from that cartoon that I liked. Cool.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one.
I always remember the thing that made me kind of chuckle at the time when, obviously, it's hard to escape. This movie came out in and around the same period as Batman v Superman, and obviously people were drawing up the lists and the comparisons. Oh, this was kind of the same, or who did this better and worse. But the one thing that always made me kind of chuckle was that in a movie where Superman has the joint name in the title, that in a 3-hour movie he had less lines than Spider-Man had in all but 15 minutes of this movie. That kind of made me chuckle.
Yeah, that's weird. But then again, Spider-Man, Peter Parker, he talks fast,
Yeah. And he has a personality. But that's for another debate.
Hey, oh, okay. Yeah,
It's about to happen, so we might as well talk about it now. One of the greatest finds, I think, for this movie, Tom Holland as Peter Parker / Spider-Man.
Who'd have thought if you cast a teenage actor as a teenage character and not a 30-year-old man as a teenage character, that it would be a smart decision? Honestly.
Can we just say, though, it's more than just an age thing?
Yes,
It's
yeah,
the
of
way
course.
that, the Marvel writers have finally gotten back control of this character, and they write him perfectly, where he's the perfect balance on both Peter Parker and as Spider-Man.
But we should give credit where credit is due, where Marvel knows how to portray Spidey, but Sony is the one who picked Tom Holland.
No, they all picked Tom Holland.
No, Kevin Feige wanted the other guy, but they decided to go with Tom Holland because that
Was
tipped
the
the scale.
other guy the one that they've cast as the new Han Solo? What's his name?
No.
Oh, his name escapes
No,
me.
it's not. It wasn't him. But what I read, Tristan, I thought because Feige was sitting in with the auditions, as were the Russo brothers, and then when they settled on Holland, they had Holland screen test with both Downey and Evans, and that's how they picked him.
Well, fingers crossed the North Korea hacks Sony again and we get to the bottom of this.
No, what happened was what the ultimate factor was, because Pascal wanted Holland and Feige wanted the other guy. I can't remember his name. But what tipped the scale is that Holland is 19, or at least by the time they were filming, he was going to be over 18. And so that way they wouldn't have to abide by child labor laws.
I don't think that was the only factor, but okay.
I didn't say that was the okay. I'm sorry, your precious Kevin Feige was not the Puritan god that you think he is. I'm sorry,
but he
like
is.
Sony got something right. God forbid.
He's got Tom Holland making like Nike jerseys and stuff.
Nevertheless, whoever made the decision, good on them. Thank God we finally got a Spider-Man that I want to see for the next 10 years, I think.
I love that. I love that Downey makes a comment about his unusually attractive aunt.
And it's like, it's total nonsense as well. Like, you know how some people kick it off? She's too young to be Aunt May. Marissa Tomei's like 50 years old. When I was 15, I had like aunts that were like in their 40s. Like that, it's perfectly normal. Just because she's not like making biscuits.
That is not the reasoning why people were weird about it, because I was weird about it too. It's not that she's too young to be an aunt. It's
She's too hot to be an aunt.
She's no, it's not that at all. It's when you think Aunt May, when you see Aunt May in the comics, she is a little old withered lady with gray hair and a cane. And Mr.
Some
Tomei
might argue
Scott.
that's the unrealistic age when you've got a young 15-year-old boy having a 60-year-old aunt. I think actually they've now retroactively fixed a plot hole that was around for 40 years, 60 years.
I'm not saying it was a bad move. I'm just saying it was an unusual move. And also, I thought it was funny because Robert Downey actually used to date Marissa Tomei in the 90s.
The answer, by the way, that it came down to Asha Butterfield.
Mm-hmm.
I read something different.
That who's it came down to, the choice between the two actors.
Both British actors.
Oh, well, why get an American when you can get a Brit to do the job?
My sources say Charlie Plummer. It was down between
Plummer.
Tom Holland and Charlie Plummer.
By the way, I like how they actually addressed that a high school kid by himself can't make a cool costume, that he's got the onesie, and that the cool costume is going to come from Tony Stark.
So perfect, so great, because I cannot stand it when in every single Spider-Man movie they have him just sew it, and then it looks completely professionally made. Like this kid is just a genius seamstress.
Yeah. Charlie Plummer was in the final three. Yeah. Tom Holland, Charlie Plummer, Matthew Lintz, and Asia
Butterfield
dropped out. Asia Butterfield dropped out. So yeah, that was the final three.
I like the fact too that Peter Parker is living in a realistic place in New York where everything costs a fortune and a single income family could possibly live.
Yeah, I was listening to the We Hate Movies podcast, available to download on iTunes, where they were talking about that, going like, oh yeah, you've got Aunt May that's desperate for money and they're living in this like house that no one can afford in New York. Sell that house, like you'd make millions from it. This is realistic.
Yeah, I love this scene.
Holland and Downey have great chemistry, which is why when I heard that Downey was going to be in Spider-Man Homecoming, I'm all for that.
I wonder how much he's going to be in Homecoming.
This whole scene killed in the midnight screening.
Yeah, same.
You've got a biased fan base, but like this whole scene went down so well.
Here's the thing: is that I had liked some of the Spider-Man movies, but I never thought I needed Spider-Man in this universe until I saw him interacting with the rest of the Avengers, and then I realized how much I needed this in my life.
I completely 100% agree with you, Matt, but at the same time, as we're watching that airport scene, he still felt out of place. He still felt special. Just kind of like, oh my God, there's Spider-Man, with the Avengers. And I'm sure we'll get used to it, but it was still that initial behind-the-scenes knowledge of knowing that Spidey has been so separate for so long.
It's true.
I think it's also the fact that he is, like, say what you want about these other characters. Spider-Man is A-list. Most of these characters really are B-list.
Until now.
C-list, D-list. Like, these aren't, like, these guys, historically aren't the Batmans, the Supermans, the Spider-Mans, the Wolverines that all these other characters are. That when he appears, like, he does stand out, and it is the background stuff as well. But like, you see this and you think, wow, that's it's the A-lister.
Yeah, it's true. And also, like, I don't think people really understand. I mean, in that scene, like later on at the airport scene, when we see how powerful Spidey actually is when compared to other superheroes, it really reflects how Spidey is in the comics. He is super powerful. He is a pivotal figure in the comic books, and so because of that, he just dwarfs the other characters, other characters' powers. And so, like, I've heard some people complain about, like, oh, Spidey's too powerful. No, he's not. He's accurate.
No, I didn't know that. I never doubted it, but like the other, because I'm only familiar with Spidey from like the 90s animated series and of course the other movies. And so when I see him later in the airport scene catch Bucky's arm one-handed, like it's nothing, I never realized that Spidey was supposed to be super strong.
And he doesn't cry once in this movie, thank God.
And it's also like they have yet to catch up with Thor though, and how powerful Thor is in the comic books. Because in the comic books, they truly treat him like a god. They make him otherworldly. Like, and for example, in the Civil War comic books, it's not really Thor, but they think it's Thor, and they're like, oh, crap. The game has changed.
We didn't need
Thor
that subplot, though.
No, and that's not what I'm saying.
No, I know. I'm just that's just a sidebar comment. I know that's not what you were saying.
But yeah, it's just like they were able to do that with Spidey, so maybe someday they'll be able to treat Thor differently. As
A-list as Spidey is, can I just say that if I had to pick any person's superpowers that what I want, I so badly want Scarlet Witch's superpowers.
You love Scarlet Witch, man.
I really do.
Mad and Scarlet Witch sitting in a tree.
I've always
Avenging.
I always wanted telekinesis, and the fact that she can shoot electricity or whatever and force fields, yeah, give it to me.
You know what? Like, actually, you'll see it in a deleted scene. That Vision has gone so far through the Earth's core, he's popped out in Australia and he's hanging out with Thor and Daryl right now.
That behind the scenes thing for Team Thor, by the way.
Amazing. Remember, guys, what have I said all along about Thor 3? It will be amazing. They've got an amazing director. That further underlines my bold claim on the back of Thor 2 being as awful as it is. Thor 3 is going to blow people's minds. We are in for a hell of a treat from an amazing writer and director.
Who is doing Thor 3 again?
Taika Waititi, is that how you say it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he did What We Do in the Shadows, one of the funniest comedies in years. Have you seen that?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah. He also did one of the best films of the year.
Hunt for the Wilder People.
Yeah, came out. It comes out in the UK finally on Friday, but I saw it at the film festival. I think it's been out in America already.
Yes,
one of the best films of the year. You will watch these movies. I'm a Flight of the Conchords fan as well, so I've been invested in this guy's career for a while. We are in for a hell of a treat with Thor 3. Mark my words, Thor 3 is going to blow people's mind.
Not to mention the casting for Thor 3 alone gets me excited.
Jeff Goldblum,
Karl Urban.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
And of course Ruffalo. I always love Ruffalo.
And who can forget Kate Blanchett, the queen of the gays.
Kate Blanchett.
What do you guys make of Captain America pulling
Sharon?
His Sharon. It's a bit awkward.
It's awkward, but I like the way that these two react to it.
Yeah. Look at his little face. He's like, I don't like the guys. Yeah.
Well, the first time I saw it, I was not on board. It didn't take it.
No,
it
I'm
didn't
still
take
not
until
convinced.
yeah. I just
It is slightly creepy that I can't have the aunt, so I'll take the niece. But
no, that's not even it. Like it just felt forced and rushed to me. Like
not as bad as Natalie Portman though. I actually like Sharon Carter as opposed to Natalie Portman's character.
well,
Yeah,
but that's not.
I'm not a big fan of Jane Foster.
Well, I'm not comparing characters. I'm just comparing like evolution of plot lines. I just
True.
felt like it came out of nowhere.
Oh, here comes Matt Hansen coming out of the van.
Yeah, I know, really.
Oh my God, you're Captain America. I think there'd be more drool though than what
Oh yeah,
Paul Rudd is showing.
He does take the moment to like feel his chest though.
That is funny.
yeah.
It's so it kind of makes me.
Right here.
It reminded me of Haley Atwell in the first one.
Oh yeah. And he's another guy that's looking a bit leaner as well, Paul Rudd.
Oh yeah, you can tell he's on the Marvel workout.
Oh yeah, and he's not aged a day.
No, he's aging well.
I don't know. I want to know what his like magical power is. He hasn't aged since the 90s.
No, he looks pretty much the same here that he does in Clueless.
I know, just with a little bit of scruff on his face. That's pretty much it.
The people that will know will be Baskin Robbins. They'll know his magical cure.
Now, can I just say, before we get lost in the scene, how much the price of admission for this movie is worth it alone for this sequence coming up?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best action scenes pulled from a comic book. It's unbelievable.
This outdoes every Avenger movie.
And by the way, in the background, you see the Bluth family
Yes.
stairwells there. Yes. Oh my God. See, when I noticed that in the cinema, I was freaking out.
I know, I lost it.
Yeah, like Matt in Arrested Development, they're so poor that one of the few things they have from their rich lifestyle was like they have the
Stair car.
car that's got the stairs.
Yeah, I've
that you
heard
put on
about
an
this.
airplane, and they drive around in it, and that's in this airplane scene. The Bluth family car.
This scene alone, I can't tell you the kind of energy that there was in the first audience that I saw this with when we got to this scene.
It kills. Yeah, like that's sometimes like the joy. I know you like to go to your old people's screening, but like if you get the chance sometimes to go to these kind of screenings, like they can be so amazing for like the genuine reactions, like getting the heartbeat of like the big fans and stuff. Like this scene just totally killed.
I saw Ultron at like opening night at nighttime.
No, but this is different. I mean, this is the energy that I felt when Spider-Man came on right here. I haven't felt that energy since the first Avengers when they did the circle shot.
The scene that really killed, like the Spider-Man thing, kind of, you know, it's an amazing little beat and everything, but it was kind of a bit flat compared to some of the other moments in the scene because, like, we saw it all kind of in the trailer and on my Twitter feed before some people had seen the trailer. But like the whole scene where like Ant-Man becomes Big Ant-Man.
The
and
biggest
stuff like
reaction
that.
was Giant Man from my audience.
Yeah, like that just went nuts.
I always find it interesting watching the behind the scenes, especially with this scene, like watching the behind the scenes footage. It's really was fascinating to me, you know, like what Spidey they used. Like when they had an actual Spidey there in full costume, or when they used a fully CGI Spidey. And I didn't know this, but they also did a motion capture of Tom Holland. Like Avatar style.
Yeah.
Huh.
I like how they call it the Quinjet. That's definitely one for the 90s kids.
I love that he calls him Captain America, not Cap or Captain, just Captain America.
Like Paul Rudd brings so much to this role.
Yeah.
And I like how that, like, you know, this really is, like, you know, it's not my favorite superhero movie by, like, kind of any stretch and stuff. I think it's a fantastically fun movie. But, like, this whole kind of 5-minute, like, battle scene and stuff like that, like, I've never seen anything like this that it genuinely impresses me, like, it is watching a comic book, like, put on the screen, like, and I like how it never gets boring. It's the variations on style and beats, and it's so good. It's impressive.
Oh man,
Everybody's got a gimmick now.
it's so
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Yeah, the banter on this is so pure Marvel, but not overly so. You know, like it doesn't get too exhausting.
It doesn't have, and I'll again saying this with a lot of love in mind for the guy. It doesn't have that Whedon-y quippiness about it. It feels more natural.
Yeah, Yeah, 100%.
It's true. It's true. I mean, you're right, Hanson. Also, that pissed me off when Black Panther scratched his shield. I was like, that's permanent. Damn it.
Nothing a paint job from home base doesn't solve.
But anyway, Hanson, like you were saying, like, I love Whedon. Love him. I don't care that the public has turned against him. I friggin' love Whedon. I love his style of writing. But when you're watching a Whedon movie, you know what you're in for. You're in for a Whedon experience. But like you said, he can get overly quippy sometimes. This is very much, I think, a balance, a nice balance.
Yeah. Like, I love Whedon. Like, he's got an eternal place in my heart for the amount of entertainment he gave me in the 90s. Well, when I was growing up. But I just think sometimes it's just that bit too self-aware sometimes that maybe... And sometimes it's the problem that fans like us have. We know the process, the writers, so well that we go, I know this dialogue. I've been with it for decades. For some, like, most of the Joe public probably going to see this movie, they're like, oh, this is really funny. But for us, we're thinking, this is a bit old hat now. I think this is just like, and I like how as well it is like it's kid gloves as well, that these guys they really aren't trying to kill each other or really seriously harm each other. They're doing their best to like just get that little bit ahead of each other, just like take out the other person, but like without doing any real harm or damage. And that's quite a nice change.
I know people were really, some people were not happy with that they wanted them to be out for blood, but it just doesn't make sense with the kind of characters that they are.
No,
they're not going to be killing each other and like, I want your blood on the floor of this, like, magazine shop in an airport. Like, they're just doing their best to like just get that one bit ahead of each other. It's like, paintballing. Like, they even make reference to it. You're pulling your punches there. Like, yeah, it's a bit ferocious in some ways because like they have some of these superpowers, but in relative terms, they're doing their best. They're not like, even this bit here, like they nearly kill someone with like blowing up the tanker. Oh, I meant to have that as water. Like, they're not trying to burn or maim anyone. They're they're good friends just having a severe disagreement.
Now with this, I know this is nitpicky, but I want to get your guys' opinion. Now with the Ant-Man physics, wouldn't that truck weigh the same amount? Or am I completely wrong?
I studied physics at standard grade level and got a 3 out of a 3. I'll pass this on to Mr. Hanson, the lawyer.
Don't pass this on to me. I didn't even take. I elected not to take physics in high school.
Now that's why I said Ant-Man physics, not real life physics.
No, but you're asking the wrong person.
Yeah.
Siri, what is the physics of Ant-Man having the big truck?
No match found.
Oh.
It f***ed up. It messed up at physics level 2.
That's all right. Now here, this is the moment we were all waiting for since the trailers.
And I like how they start kind of jogging a bit. Like it's kind of that.
They're not stopping.
It reminds you of football hooligans. Like
makes me think of Braveheart.
Yeah, there's a famous like video that's kind of on
shot
the go
though
just
right
now
here where you see all of them at once.
Lee, what were you saying?
There's a thing like in Scotland just now, I have to send it to you, where it's like there's football hooligans, like they're two opposition supporters. What they're doing is they're kind of dancing around each other, like they're both kind of like, I'm really going to hit you. No, I'm going to hit you. And they're both kind of like skipping on the spot, like kind of around each other, just like, I'm going to really hit you, while kind of just like bouncing around each other. And it reminds me of that thing where they're both kind of trying to intimidate the other, but like they're just kind of like, well, we're really going to do this? Like, do we have to? Can we just like kind of kid on a bit? It reminds me of that kind of like fake, I'm really going to get you.
There you go.
All right. It bothers me that Clint was brought into this and then he has to go to jail. Like, that bothers me.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that's the risk you take in the current climate.
Yeah, I guess so.
I just want Scarlet Witch's powers.
Yeah, she's kind of the person where, like, whenever it's down between two people and we don't want to show that the other person has the upper hand, they just bring in Scarlet Witch.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Someone knows about physics. There's our Tom Holland. That doesn't obey the laws of physics. We should have got him on the podcast. We'd have got our best ever ratings as well.
He also said to go for your legs.
Yeah. I'll try that. I'll try to get Tom next time. I love that Cap gets him, though.
Yeah.
Because no matter how strong Spidey is, Cap is still the more experienced.
I love this. Like, Ant-Man's the best in this, isn't he?
When we heard Ant-Man and Hawkeye were going to be in this movie, this is the shot we all wanted, right?
Yeah.
Tristan, you and I talked about this, like how much we wanted to see him riding the arrow.
The world talked about this. They said that, like, yeah, everyone was in agreement. If you do not do the arrow shot, you screwed up. But I just wish they didn't show it in the trailer. That pissed me off.
I know. But I like how so much of actually this battle scene is kept hidden, that there was so many surprises on the night, which, you know, it can be rare sometimes.
Well, this sequence goes on for like a good 20 minutes, so they give you your money's worth.
Yeah, what I like about this movie as well is that this, for 99% of like action movies, would be the climax. Like this, you know, free-for-all battle scene. In reality, it's, you know, the film starts to get smaller and smaller after this, and it manages to keep it going.
This is just the end of the second act.
Yeah. I mean, for most films, this would be it. This would be the climax, the big battle, everyone coming together, all the superpowers. Like, you can't go anywhere beyond this.
Yeah, that's true. Although when that first trailer came out and it ends with that shot that Tristan was talking about Bucky and Cap versus Iron Man, I figured that was going to be the end.
Yeah, it had to have been, you know. You gotta finish with the intimate moments.
Yeah. And you know, as I say, I you know, it was something I suspected as well, but like, it takes sometimes the balls to actually do that, to get smaller, to have an amazing high like this and go, we're going to go smaller and smaller in the third act. That for a lot of people, like, that's something they just don't do anymore in the big blockbusters, and it's nice that this movie does take that. I say risk, it's not really a risk, but for you know, even a lot of the Marvel movies, like, yeah, it all builds to that final climax, the blue thing in the sky. This movie's like, right, we're getting tighter and tighter and intimater and intimater. Now,
like Lee said, for me on opening night, this is the moment that absolutely killed.
Sadly, this got spoiled for me before I saw the movie.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put up the image again.
Thankfully, it was not by Lee this time. It was just, you know, random internet folks, like, with the toys. Like, they said, they're like, oh, they're releasing a toy that's called Big Ant-Man. And I'm like, oh, thanks a lot for letting me know that.
I just like how they're both looking at each other, just like, I like that way to go tic-tac.
Yeah, I love it. He's like, does anybody else have any powers?
Shocking abilities?
Yeah.
Product placement in Disney movies is just out of control. Tic-tac, oh my god.
I'm surprised that Ant-Man was able to last as long as he did as the big Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Now, is that a thing in the comics, is that he really can't hold that for very long?
No.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong guy.
But what I remember, it's sort of a novelty. It doesn't have the longest time.
Right.
In the face. We need to keep talking, because I think we're getting too entertained by the scene. We're just kind of watching.
But that's the thing, though. This is one of the most entertaining scenes in any of these films.
Yeah. Oh, this has to be the best fight out of any Marvel movie.
Of course, it's just so cool. Like, the fact that it just,
because doesn't it satisfy like that little boy fantasy that we all must have had, where like, I bet Captain America can beat Spider-Man in a fight. That this is like, you know, just what you fantasized about as a kid if you liked these characters.
I mean, like, I've mentioned this so many times before. Like, I really, really enjoy the Marvel movies for the most part. But, like, Batman is my bread and butter. I love Batman. I love the comics, love the character, everything like that. But, like, you know, I've said it before that I wasn't a fan of Batman v Superman. But, like, I was thinking, like, you know, no matter how, you know, bad this movie could potentially be, I'm going to get to see Batman fighting Superman. This is going to be so awesome. And then the fact that it was over and within like a couple of minutes, and I was so unfulfilled with that. And then I kind of went into this movie thinking, like, if that unfulfilled me, what I wanted to see all kind of my life, Batman fighting Superman, it was going to be so cool on the big screen. This movie like delivered what I was hoping from that movie, like this free-for-all, inventive, smart, intelligent, like over-the-top battle scene. It really certainly made up for that movie, you know, disappointing me in that respect.
I love that even in this moment, like when the tensions are mounting and things are getting serious and people are actually getting hurt, we still get Paul Rudd making the joke about Vision passing through
him.
Yeah.
Now, this is I'm glad that this scene actually turns out the way it does, because this is the one person that the two people that I didn't want to see fight each other.
Yeah. No, I mean, we got our moment with Hawkeye and Black Widow where we realized, oh, okay, it's still cool. And we needed that moment between her and Cap. It needed it.
Now, this is the best, the Empire Strikes Back reference. And
yes, that was another thing that killed on opening night.
The really, really old movie.
I know what they're talking about. They're talking about The Empire Strikes Back. Oh.
This is another, like, go for your legs moment where, like, I like that this is how you take out Giant Man.
More product placement from Disney again. Oh. This reminds me of that Star Wars movie that'll be available from Disney Blu-ray in next fall.
I actually would have respected that. Like, if that happened, I would have been, bravo.
Spider-Man just has this offline Rogue One in theaters, December 16th.
Winks at the camera.
It'll be like that I Am Legend when they had the BVS like poster in the background. Like you just like kind of kick down and there's like a big poster of Felicity Jones on the side of a plane.
Nice. Okay, so the orange slices line. What? I did I miss something? I laugh because it's so random, but what is he saying there? Why is he saying orange slices?
Orange slices, like, you know, like in a soccer game, that's what people...
Yeah, that's what I assumed it was as well.
Okay.
To get their energy back.
We had the same debate. Yeah, we had the same debate in Hutchison HQ last night. Like, is that something? I was like, I think it's just like a reference to, that's what they do, like at the halftime, you know, feast is you have your, orange slices.
Okay.
That's what they used to do in like kids' sports. Like you would have orange slices at halftime.
Supposedly that doing the Giant Man thing drains a lot of his energy. So I figured that's what it was a reference to.
Gotcha.
Now, it's all fun and games until somebody actually gets hurt, which is about to happen.
I think this is another, as Seth kind of mentioned a few times, obviously the parallels this film draws in with real life debates and stuff around intelligence and, you know, these sorts of things, you know, UN control, you know, friendly fire, how many people have sadly been lost to that and been crippled by it, and the fact that the injury, we see it drawn parallels with things we see on like CNN a lot of the time, soldiers sadly coming back with these kinds of injuries and going through that rehabilitation. It, you know, as fun as this whole scene is, that fact that ends in quite a real life parallel is very sad.
I have to say, this is the most I've ever felt for Rhodey.
It's so sad that he died on impact, you know? It's just so crazy.
All kidding aside, though, when the sound of the impact was really, really... It got a reaction out of my theater.
Yeah, because he should have been liquefied.
Maybe there's like some sort of trampoline substance inside him.
There you go. It's better than what they did to him in the comics.
Yeah.
What they do to him in the comics?
I don't know if I should say it. Okay, everybody, hit your 15-second advance button on your podcast if you don't want to hear this. Thanos ripped his head off.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's coming in Infinity War then.
That'd be freaking awesome.
You're such a sadist. The guy that's crippled and all that sort of stuff. He's
paralyzed.
Probably just sitting in a
Poor
wheelchair,
guy.
and then he's just like his head's torn off, and there's Tristan in the back screen on a Sunday, like, yes, get his head
Rip his
off,
head
take
off.
his head off.
I'm the guy in the corner laughing his ass off, and everyone just turns to look at me.
You go get him, Thanos. Who's my man? The girl's rolling her eyes. Oh my god, I'm with him.
Yeah. She had to do that the other day. Like, I was cracking jokes in public, and she's like, I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry.
Were you trying to do your best Paul Rudd impression?
Oh, I think you mean I was doing my best Paul Rudd impression. I did a shot like this almost exactly in a short film when I was going in school. And so this shot means something to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like the bloodied arm, that's all you see.
It means you think like the Russo brothers. You should be proud.
I am proud. Or the Russo brothers think like me. Oh.
No?
Yeah, so we're coming up on the end game, but yet we still have 40 minutes left.
And we still don't know what's going on as well. Like, what is this guy's plan? Like,
Well, we think we know what's going on because we think it's going to be this unleashing a bunch of Winter Soldiers thing.
Yeah.
Unleash the hounds.
And I like how, like, through the course of this movie that we're getting to see more of Bucky. Bucky's becoming like a person as opposed to just this military machine, and that I genuinely start to like take an interest in this character, and I like their relationship. I think he really does. I grow to find him really fascinating in this movie. And then here we go. We see the real life consequences of the scrap.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's the god of all people that.
Made a
just someone
mistake.
that a god can fail.
How like life.
I kind of wonder if, because this is the last we see of Vision in this movie, and I kind of wonder now if he's going to go through a crisis of faith, kind of like I know it's not going to be I know it's not going to be silly like this, but like you guys remember the Next Generation episode where Data messes up and then like hides himself in his quarters and assumes that there's something wrong with him.
Yeah.
During the war games.
Yeah, peak performance.
Peak performance.
Peak performance at season 2, episode 22.
Or we get a Vision movie all on its own, and then all of a sudden he has PTSD and he wakes up in bed with Pepper Potts and he's just like,
Hello, Seattle. I'm the Vision. I'm listening.
Oh, she said a swear. So, okay, what do you guys think about this? They say that Samuel Jackson was surprised to discover that Nick Fury was not going to be in it, but then the executive producer said that there was no room for him because there was no reason for him to be in it. Would you guys wanted Nick Fury to be in this movie?
No. There's no issue. If he was in it, I would trust that, like the other characters, they would find a way to, use him and thing. But like ultimately, what's he gonna do?
Well, here's the thing, Tristan, is that when they first announced that this was going to be what the story was, and I kind of expected that he would be in it because I figured that he's usually is in the political stories. I mean, they put him into Winter Soldier, but not knowing how the way that this story was going to be told, now knowing how it was told, he doesn't need to be in it.
Yeah.
He's probably kicking about in someone's barn or something like that, just waiting for them to come home. Like, God, I thought like Hawkeye would be back by now. Come on.
See, and that's the thing too, is that I kind of feel like Nick Fury needs to be used now sparingly because I kind of felt like he really, really, really didn't need to be in Ultron.
Really didn't need to be in S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, like like you had this amazing ending for him in Winter Soldier. He was going off, he was going rogue, and then like one movie later, we see him in a barn, and then he's back in S.H.I.E.L.D. And it's like what was the point?
And he's got his eye patch back, even though he burned it.
Yeah.
Now, I wish that the Russo brothers shot this a little differently. Like, I wish that the helicopter scene was shot a little differently because I thought it was so cool that Tony had an autonomous helicopter because of course he has an autonomous helicopter. He doesn't need a pilot. I wish that they illustrated that a little bit better with the camera.
Yeah.
Do you mean it wasn't as clear that the helicopter was autonomous as it could be?
Yes, that is what I
Okay.
mean. This felt very Watchmen to me, the end of this movie.
And I like how, like, for all this that we've got this bad guy is that he actually kills more bad guys than any of the Avengers do in this entire movie, that he takes out, like, 6 Winter Soldiers. Unlike the rest of them, like, there's no other none of our heroes actually kill anyone in this movie. It's left to the bad guy to do the actual good deed, in a way.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise it'd be called the Murderverse. Am I right? Am I right, people?
Yeah. Zemo doesn't use guns.
But like, I love cryogenics. Like Lee, your thing with sit rooms. I love anything to do with cryogenics or like people freezing and advancing forward years and years. Cap, Vanilla Sky, anything.
Are you saying that in your will you're going to leave your body to be cryogenically frozen and then woken up at a later time?
Who says I haven't already? Like, I hate to break it to you guys, but I'm actually 247. So there you go.
Speak for yourself. I intend to live forever.
Yeah, see, no pilot.
Yeah.
So this was interesting because I was very very much wondering what they were going to do with this kind of prison, because in in the comic books the prison is actually in a different dimension.
The raft.
Yeah.
And it's
The Phantom Zone.
It's a supermax prison, and I'm so glad that they didn't go in that direction, because obviously that wouldn't have fit in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But even though I love supermax prisons, the impracticality of them just boggles the mind.
Yeah.
But you were okay with it was an underwater prison versus an interdimensional prison.
Oh, absolutely, 100%, yeah.
Ross certainly gets around quite easily as well. Like he's the Secretary of State, but like he's on to this like prison underground tube and all that sort of stuff. Like I watch a lot of the news. I've not seen John Kerry do any interviews from the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, I don't think Ross knows about Skype yet, so maybe we should let him know.
This is, by the way, I think this is the best Renner is as Hawkeye in this scene.
I love that they gave him his moment here, that this is Hawkeye's scene. I like that.
I know. Like, you forget he has a family as well.
I don't care
Right.
what people say. When people give him good writing, Renner can kill it.
Absolutely. I think he's an actor that thrives off excellent material. That he's appeared in so many movies in the past few years, and some of them, he's a bit forgettable in it, but the ones where he's given the good material to work in, the Hurt Lockers, and I can't remember the name of the movie. I saw it quite recently where he plays a journalist. Some excellent stuff that he can do. He just needs the material.
Even in the Mission Impossible films that he's in, he's given good stuff to work with, I feel.
Yeah.
I just think sometimes people struggle what is his best thing that Jeremy Renner is the best at? Like that. Sometimes I think he's, someone that's just not found the right vehicle sometimes for him for his talents, really.
I've said it once, and I'll say it 100 times. I love Renner. I think he's a fantastic actor, but I think he is best when he's a supporting actor.
Agreed.
Yeah, and that's sometimes a great thing to be. Like, not everyone has to be the A-list, to be the front of the band. That being a supporting character is sometimes some of the best material, some of the best stuff, and there's no shame in it. Not everyone has to be the best.
I thought it was fantastic in something like American Hustle.
Oh, yes. I love that. I don't care what people say. I love that movie.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't get the backlash to it. I think it's cracking.
It's a great character piece, and that's when you recognize that the plot is secondary to the characters, you just have to accept it and roll with it, and that's what you do.
And plus, I think it wasn't it an in-joke among us geeks that every single leading person in that film was someone from a superhero movie.
Yeah. Much like the cast of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World all went on to star in like Marvel movies and superhero movies. That it certainly was the case.
Yeah. Is that your boyfriend? Seems nice.
Yeah, and like I like how this, like, you think, oh, that's everyone's found like are back on the same page again.
Yeah,
This kind of
bygones
false
are going to
heron,
be
like,
bygones, and
Yeah. The film I was meaning to talk about earlier on was Kill the Messenger with Jeremy Renner, where he plays Gary Webb, someone that's investigating like CIA involvement in cocaine trafficking. He's a very underrated movie, but he's fantastic.
I'm really looking forward to seeing him in this new Villeneuve movie, that Arrival.
Oh yes, it's one of my most anticipated movies. That's a director on a hell of a streak.
And supposedly, I mean, it premiered already at Venice, and supposedly it's really, 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 really good.
Yeah. You'll get our opinions in about 5 months' time.
I love that they find new and inventive ways to get the suit on Tony.
Oh yeah.
I never
they're
get
getting
tired
more
of
and more
that.
ridiculous, but you just you go with it. It's part of like the meme now, I think.
I don't know which one you're partial to, but I really still like the thing that he had in the first Avengers movie, where it was like the circle that walked behind him.
Yeah.
And took it off.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that was cool. I think that was, I know I hate that I'm about to use this word, but I felt like that was
DC?
very, no, I felt like that was very realistic within the universe.
Yeah.
Of because, yeah. You all know what I'm
Honestly,
trying to
I
say.
love that little scene there with Cap and Bucky, where like they're just talking about the good old days, almost as if like they're going into the jaws of hell, and let's just have a good reminisce for old time's sake before we probably likely face our doom. It's a really nice moment.
And how ridiculous is that magazine?
I almost wondered if Bucky was going to die again when I first saw this.
Yeah, I thought he was done for.
Especially since they're kind of going back to the place where he first died in the first place. Where did Bucky originally die? On a snowy mountaintop somewhere in Europe. Where are they now? Somewhere on a snowy mountaintop in Europe.
Yeah, but he's still got like 3 movies on his contract, so
That doesn't mean anything.
Well,
it
you might as well
kinda
keep
does.
him if you're going to pay for him and stuff.
Because supposedly that Quicksilver actor was signed for multiple movies.
I didn't hear that.
I wasn't aware of that myself, but
Yeah, neither was I. I don't. Okay, I always wonder when we see Iron Man in his suit and his helmet is off, because it's certain behind the scenes footage. Downey's actually wearing a chest piece, but then he has CGI legs, and then there's other times when he's completely armorless, and so it always makes me wonder why they choose which ones. Like here, you can tell like that is all CGI suit.
And like the amazing thing is, you look at it 9 times out of 10, you always think it's a genuine outfit that he's got on. It's there's quite a few of the Avengers things where it's almost like leotards they're wearing, and like then it's all put on CGI afterwards. Like in most cases with the outfits, I always buy into them being genuine.
Yeah, I mean, I save for the one that he wore in the first Avengers movie. I thought all of Cap's outfits have looked great.
Oh god, that one in the first Avengers, that was horrible, wasn't it?
I don't know if horrible is the right word, but it did look the most like costume shoppy. But the rest of them, like the one he wore in first Avenger, and at the end of Winter Soldier was good. You and I both like the stealth suit from Winter Soldier, and I like this costume. It's pretty much the Age of Ultron costume mixed with first Avenger, but it all looks good.
Yeah, no, this one definitely looks good. Like you said, Winter Soldier is my favorite, but this would definitely be my second favorite. But yeah, man, in the first Avengers, he looked like he ran to Walmart real quick.
I like the first Avenger one. Like it was the 1940s, to be fair.
No, we're talking about Avengers, the Joss Whedon.
Oh yes, of course. Oh, my mistake.
The one that looked like pajamas.
Man, so
I suppose that was a kind of fetishized uniform made by someone that was even more in love with him than you.
True.
Oh, and now it all starts to come together.
And so the evil man explains his plan.
But at least he does. At least he does so behind a barrier where he can't be taken out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that they showed that they showed Cap where he didn't hesitate, he didn't wait. He saw him and threw his shield and realized, crap.
And I like how this is just laid out that it's just a simple plan. And I love this little touch, like I studied you, and like I'm surprised at like that little bit of green in your eyes. I think that's such a nice touch. A proper stalker.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a little we're gonna kiss now, but that's okay. That's okay. I love the lighting in this scene on both of them. Fantastic lighting from underneath, and they just give them this otherworldly quality that crap's gonna go down.
Right. And
it's the same as well. Like everything's getting tighter and tighter. Even like the visuals, it's just like focused on the faces. It's.
I do remember when the first night when this scene played out, and we're finally told who was in the car. My audience, you could hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
I love that they didn't do the footage from 1991 as high definition HD widescreen.
Yeah.
The fact that it's a surveillance camera.
It's an
I'd
actual
love to have seen
surveillance
him actually
camera.
put like a VCR and like someone going, could you just get that VCR from under the thing and just put it in that tape? No, you need to rewind it.
No. Input one.
No, we don't have HDMI. Oh, there is the VHS.
Now
Okay.
Tristan. Here's the scene where I think, where I say it's this film that Downey gives his best performance in. It's specifically thinking of this sequence because I really do think he's fantastic in both his reaction and delivery right here.
Oh, absolutely. I think it really allows Downey to not just be the quit machine, but also really, it's like in Iron Man 3, I guess you could argue like, oh, he wasn't just a quit machine, like he had to deal with pain, but this is just on a very different level.
But here it's even more personal because it's the parents.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a cliche because, I mean, this is everybody. This is Batman. This is Spider-Man to a certain extent. But to actually be confronted with the person who did it.
With the girl might kill me for saying this on the air, but get rid of Chris Evans, get rid of Downey, get rid of Bucky. Doesn't matter. You show her John Slattery. Yeah, that's her ticket right there.
I know. It's amazing. I all thought it ended happily ever after at the end of Mad Men, and got it.
Yeah. He made it to the 90s, though. He made it to the 90s.
See, right.
And I like this reveal that like the goody two shoes, the butter wouldn't melt in his mouth thing. Like he has done like the most horrible thing. Like he knew and he didn't tell anyone.
This part right here from Downey is my favorite.
Yeah. Like, you see it in those eyes. And I like how he lies. I like how he says, did you know? I didn't know it was him. And like, yeah, okay, yeah, you've got me. Like, when did he find out? When would he have found out?
No, in Winter Soldier, in that scene
yeah,
that I told
when
you
he
about.
gets the file.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right. You kept the wolves from the door well there. Wait. Oh, it's in that file. Oh yeah, that's fine. Next.
Now, when like both you guys have referenced him being the good guy until you find out this, I never really faulted him for not telling Tony.
But I'm not saying that he's no longer good. It's just showing that he's not always pure of heart like we thought he was. Like
Well, does that really mean that? Does that mean that he's not pure of heart?
I think he is pure of heart, but I think it is showing for the first time in this universe that he is capable of being somewhat selfish. Because this is a selfish act when you think about it.
Mm.
I think like, yeah, it's a hard one to say. Like how would you tell someone like, Tony, I want you to know I found out the truth about how your parents died. That they weren't ever particularly close, these two, in a way. But like, I thought, then there's that line, I thought we were, best friends and things like that. And, when would he have found the opportunity? Like, I buy that he wouldn't say and that he would have reasons for doing it. But yeah, I could see it more so from Tony's side to find out like, oh, you knew this information and didn't tell me. He's protecting someone over giving someone peace of mind that can. I thankfully my parents are both alive. That I can't imagine how horrible it would be to have both your parents killed and have the wonder of always wondering who killed them, why were they killed, and the blame that he feels for not getting that chance to say goodbye and knowing the answer, someone had it and didn't share it with him. I can imagine really, really hurting it. It's more selfish behavior than purposely vindictive, but it shows that he's not the all-American, good guy.
100% of the time.
He's human.
Yeah.
He's human.
And I mean, it's because of this that, Tristan and I, we were talking the other week on the show that it makes me, it pisses me off a little bit when people say that this movie isn't consequential because, I mean, if nothing else, the trust between these two characters and really the whole team is shattered. And how do you have a team with no trust?
Yeah. I love the look in Bucky's eyes there because that was genuine fear. Like he was scared when that was coming down on him. That was cool.
I love the voice of Friday as well. This Irish twang and all that. It always brings a smile.
I kind of love Friday.
I was going to ask you guys about Friday, about how you felt about Friday and the lack of Jarvis.
You gotta get down on a Friday. The fact that Jarvis has been replaced by Vision is great as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I've got no issues with Friday.
I don't have any issues either because we haven't lost Bettany.
Okay, right there, Tony said he killed my mom. That was very gut-wrenching, very impersonal. But do you think they went with he killed my mom because it's more specific than he killed my parents because he still has issues with his dad? What do you think?
I think it's to show that what we saw at the beginning. He and his dad never had a close relationship, but his mom meant something to him.
Where Mummy, I'm sure most of us are Mummy's boys as well and stuff, that his dad probably worked away from home a lot, and he probably, has that different relationship to his mum.
Well, I think you could see, I mean, even though it was a hologram recreation, the way he reacted to his dad and then the way he reacted to his mom was very different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love this fight. It's so good. The fact that it's brutal. It's just people hit. It's like the total opposite to what we got.
This is people trying to kill each other.
Yeah, this is bloodthirsty.
Ripping each other to shreds. There's, collateral damage be damned. It's brutal.
Now this is a shot from the comic, right?
Yeah, this is ripped from the page right here. It's I wish that they didn't show Bucky grabbing the center chest piece of Iron Man, because as soon as I saw that shot, I was like, oh, he's gonna lose his arm.
Here we go, Black Panther stepping up to the plate now.
And so now, Tristan, you understand the meaning behind that voicemail.
Yes.
It's just so good that like this is the kind of, the theme about, giving into revenge, and it's so topical in the world today of how many decisions people have all made on personal levels, countries have made in seeking revenge and giving someone a bloody nose, that, sometimes you've got to just lay down your arms and find a better way.
And I love that these two characters are the ones involved in the finale of this storyline of this bad guy, because it, like you said, about the theme of revenge and trying to get vengeance and everything like that. This is like Black Panther seeing this individual, trying to ruin a team and thus affect the world, all because of misplaced vengeance. It makes him reevaluate his own life and his own perspective, and that's good character work. That's good writing. It
is good writing, and what's also good writing is my favorite line from Black Panther right here at the end, where he says, "The living are not done with you yet."
Yeah, it's a great line. We may be done with the past, but the past ain't through with us.
And he tries to kill himself in the way that always creeps me out, under the mouth.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, like that's quite bold for a Disney movie. I can imagine that, like, them sweating a bit in the studio board with that. Like, it's very un-Disney like. Yeah,
it's going to be really hard for them once they rip off War Machine's head. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough call.
Yeah, like this must be the first time we see like an attempted suicide in a Disney movie, as far as I'm aware.
I still, even though it's owned by Disney, I don't know if I'd still qualify this as a Disney movie.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Obviously, it just comes under the Disney.
Is this basically implying that Cap fights predictably enough where he can be analyzed by a computer?
Well, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a human, He's been trained, and
you've got your army, they've got their set skills and attitudes, and I like that it is just brutal. It's violent. I wish this was just slightly more than, say, like a 12, a PG-13, where like they could really it could be more bloody.
But they go pretty far. I mean, both of them are pretty messed up by the end of this.
I'm okay with the level of violence here.
Like, I like how we go from like superhero violence to like, I always say, like, it's the same, like, I'm not a fan of like horror movies, like Supernatural, all that kind of nonsense. But like, I like in horror when it's like humans being, really screwing over other humans, and humans showing that what horrible things humans can do at times. And to see like the violence in a superhero movie just simply come down to that level where it's not the powers, it's the fists, it's the venom, it's the hate.
I love in this shot how Downey really looks like Cap. He thinks Cap is going to behead him.
Yeah.
He
thinks it's going to happen. He's like, holy crap, I'm done. Yeah, this was no. I'm okay with the level of violence in this. I think they found the right pitch, and I love the callback to the first Avenger. I almost said the first Avenger, the first Cap movie, when he gets up and he says, "I could do this all day." Yeah.
Tristan, we just finally found, or both of you guys, we found out the significance of this scene because the Russos had to give it to us because people were wondering. This is really Cap hanging up the shield and the mantle. Mm-hmm.
This is one of my favorite moments as well, where he goes, it sums up Tony so well that he is he is quite a petty person deep down and stuff. Like that shields my dad's, and it reminds you of, like, I don't know if you experienced it as a kid, that, like, say you were playing football or something like that, and one of the kids got upset because, like, he was letting in the goals, and he's like, well, he's taking up the ball and he's taking it home. Like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, the game's over. I'm taking the ball. We're not playing anymore. Like, that's my, like, the fact that after all of this, he's just still trying to just be petty. Like, no, leave that. That's my dad's. You just leave it. That's he's still trying to get a victory out of something, that even if it's just the shield or something like that, that he's going to have the last say.
But Cap does it, and he hangs it up as Captain America.
Yeah. Citizen America next year.
Yeah, it makes me wonder what they're going to do with Infinity War, like how he's going to be dressed or how he's going to be armored. Like, and if somebody else is going to be Captain America, but he's still going to be fighting, it's going to be interesting. I feel like he's going to come back as Captain America for one last job, and then he'll pass the mantle at the end of Infinity War. That's my guess.
I think he's going to go out.
He might go out at the end of Infinity War, but I wonder how they're going to come back, because not only does Cap have to come back, but obviously when we leave this film, half of the Avengers are outlaws.
Yep.
So
they'll all show up in a barn or something at some point, and like, oh well, how we were outlaws in the last film. We've just been kicking about in the barn, and it's all back fine now.
That was when
I love that.
Come on, that was Whedon's run on the Avengers. I think the Russos' run on the Avengers is going to be much different.
I love that line. Did it? Like, where everyone's like, oh, you failed. Check you. You wasted your time. Did it? Did I? Yeah, I don't think so. And like, we know it. Like, it's just a simple line that you didn't fail.
My guess is that we're gonna get the stereotypical, oh, you all get pardons because something even worse has come about, and so we need you to do this one last job and defeat Thanos. That's how I think they're gonna get him back.
I think it might be a little bit more interesting than what you're giving it credit for, but it's possible.
They'll find an inventive way.
I'm sure. I mean, like I said, and I've said 1,000 times, and I'll say 1,000 more times, is that I trust the Russo brothers. But I think essentially it will be that.
Probably the same as something similar to The Dark Knight Rises, where it doesn't take the biggest of pushes to get someone back into the game. It just, I'm sure Captain America will put on a leg brace or something, and then go, well, I'm off back to work. See you later.
Nice.
I like the touch that he's wearing the United States military thing. Once again, it draws the parallel with what's gone on in the real world and the people that have been affected by the decisions that they've been contemplating this whole time of intervention, oversight before intervention, and the people that get caught up in these debates that we can talk about how countries should behave, but ultimately it's people like him that sometimes face the worst consequences of them all. And I don't think we're going to see him as the war machine anymore. I think that's him done in a way.
Until he gets his head ripped off. Yeah. Everybody loved the Tony Stank thing too in my theater.
Yeah. I know. I like, as I say, obviously the film kind of wrapping up now. That I know some people mistook this kind of ending that once again everything was all back to normal, but I think it's just an honest letter.
There's no way it's all back to normal.
No. I mean, there'll be an element of reset, of course, but I don't think people are giving it the credit they are. That it's someone reaching out to someone. It's not something that's repaired. It's not something that's totally fixed over. It's someone seeking out there that I'm here if you need me. He's still that soldier boy if something's needed. He was going to answer that call. Above and beyond petty grievances. True soldiers don't just walk away from something because they don't agree with one person's thing. They sometimes go for it.
I know this isn't the end of the Captain America character, but I think it's a nice end to his trilogy. Seeing where he started and where he ends by this movie.
It's always so hard to, like, I think this is in a way, and like I'm a big fan of actually the first Avenger. I've grown to love it. And I think it's one of the few great trilogies where every part works really well, but it's obviously hard to, is it like properly a trilogy because it feeds off other movies? It's sometimes so hard to tell, but I think this is a brilliant trilogy. It's it's done. Like, you can make arguments that Iron Man 2 is terrible. Thor, I like the first one, but I don't like the second one. This one has been consistently a cracking series. It's hard to say. I think I'd rank them all, between 4s and 5s, these three. Which one is the best, and second and third is so minimal.
It's going to be really interesting for me because I we're here at the end, but it'll be real interesting for me once I get the physical copy of this. I want to watch this and Winter Soldier back to back because I am still undecided as which one I like better.
I have yet to do a double bill, and I really need to. I need to watch Winter Soldier and this back to back.
Yeah, I did the Avengers marathon. And
I know they're both toward the top, for sure.
I should add, I love the subtitle when the credits start here where it goes, "Dramatic music begins." It's almost like the amazing subtitle in Die Hard where they start, villain whistles his own theme.
All right, well, that's it, folks. That's Civil War. That's our commentary.
Any quick thoughts on the post-credit scene?
Yeah, are we gonna even talk about the post-credit scenes?
We can talk about it now. I don't think we need to watch it live. But what did you think it added to it?
Well, I like the fact that I wonder if in some way either Sebastian Stan is either going to be in or at least referenced in the Black Panther movie because he's in Wakanda now.
I think it's a nice bit of they've obviously taken on board that Tristan Riddell loves people being cryogenically frozen, so they've cryogenically frozen him so that they're guaranteed to get his money on a Sunday morning screening one day to find out what happens with his cryogenically.
But you know
freezing.
what I mean? He's in Wakanda now, so is Black Panther going to be about someone coming to get him? Is it going to be about? I wonder if he's going to be involved in some way.
I don't think he's going to have the biggest role. I think he's just going to be. It's once again, it's probably the same as Ross. He's kind of on ice now until he's needed to be called up to the leagues, as it were. But he's there. He's alive. We'll see what he does. And obviously the Spider-Man one, I like how he goes. Like, he talks that he gets into a fight with someone from Brooklyn. Yeah, I think that's a cool touch.
He had this friend. He was huge.
And the nice, the recurring thing where it's, as a James Bond fanboy, I love it, where it's like Spider-Man will return in Her Majesty's Secret Service.
I thought that was I liked it and I thought it was odd at the same time because this is a Cap movie, so why are we saying Spidey's going to return?
Yeah, it's one of the next movies to come up, and for people that lived in a bubble and didn't know that there was going to be another Spider-Man movie or something, I don't know. But I think it's just a nice touch. Like, they did it with the same at the end of Winter Soldier, like Captain America will return. I think it's a nice bit of geek callback to something like James Bond.
Plus, I mean, when it was the other movies, it was more of a singular focus. So it could say something like Captain America will return in Avengers: Age of Ultron. But what are you going to say in this? The Avengers will return in Avengers: Infinity War.
Potentially, I don't know. All right, well. There we go. We hope you enjoyed that because I enjoyed it. This was a lot of fun, and the time went by way faster than I thought it was going to. I'm exhausted. I'm a little hoarse, but this is easily one of my favorite Marvel films of all time. So, how would you guys rate this movie? How would you rate it out of 10? And where do you think it kind of lies on your Marvel list?
Like I said, I really, really need to see this and Winter Soldier back to back to try to figure out which one I prefer because it is in a dead heat as far as I'm concerned. I thought Winter Soldier was pretty close to like a perfect Marvel movie and a perfect superhero movie. So if I had to rank it and try to not get too carried away, Civil War is at least an 8.5 to a 9. And I think at the lowest for me, it's going to be number 2.
Fantastic. Well, Lee, just to give you a little bit more time to think, I'll go with my list. I think this is definitely up there. This is definitely like 2 or 3. Somewhere around in there on my on my Marvel list. It's definitely top 5. This is easily in my top 5 of favorite Marvel movies. And I think I'd go around the same score as you, Matt. I think I was not blown away as much as you were, so I'd have to give this an 8, which is a solid score from me.
Because I'm obtuse, I would have to give it a 4 out of 5. But I was looking up here my letterbox list, and I think I'd still kind of stay the way it would be just now. But in the grand scheme of things, like how I have got it in the grand scheme of the MCU list is at 13 Thor: The Dark World, 12 Iron Man 2, 11 Avengers: Age of Ultron, 10 The Not So Incredible Hulk, 9 Ant-Man, 8 Iron Man 3, 7 Thor, 6 Iron Man, 5 Avengers, 4 Civil War, 3 Guardians of the Galaxy, 2 Captain America: The First Avenger, and Captain America: Winter Soldier at number 1. But obviously, this is a film I've only just watched for the second time last night. So it'll take time to see where it slots in. That when I first saw Captain America: First Avenger, I didn't think much of it. I actually fell asleep at the cinema watching it. But watching it and getting to know it and seeing how it fits in over the period of time has really enhanced it. So there's no reason that a Civil War won't go up above, say, Guardians of the Galaxy or something like that. But at the moment, just as I say, it's still fresh. I'm still getting to get to know it. It would be the 4th out of the 13, but that top 4, that top 5 really are 4, 5 out of 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5 kind of films. It's not a disservice to be 4th.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we all agreed, no matter where it's placed in our respective list, I think we all settled on top 5 at least for Civil War.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Well, Lee, where can we find you online?
Yeah, you can find me at Lee_Nostromo on Twitter, where you can talk to me about my thoughts or whatever on Captain America: Winter Soldier. And thank you so much for anyone that's listened to this and made it all the way to the end. I greatly appreciate any feedback we get from you guys is always wonderful to hear, and it's so constructive. It's so wonderful, and yeah, thank you so much if you've taken the time to get here to the end. The end of the line.
And you can find me at mhansen0207, HANSEN, talking about all things nerdy. Talk Civil War with me. I really, really can't get enough of this movie, as my multiple theater tickets will tell you.
Well, and you can find me at The Insane Robin on Twitter, and I have a normal spiel that I give, but this has been a 2.5-hour podcast, so I'll just give it to you real quick. You can find us at thenerdparty.com. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/thenerdparty. We have a Twitter as well at Join Nerd Party. You need to follow us everywhere. Give us likes, give us favorites, give us hearts, and you can also go to lootcrate.com/nerdparty. From there, you can subscribe to a genius and amazing Geek Box service where you get $40 worth of material for under $20, and if you go to lootcrate.com/nerdparty, enter in code nerdparty, you'll save even more money off of that. Hanson, I just gotta tell you, Lee's my friend.
So was I.
Join the revolution. Join the Nerd Party.